the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Good evening, my friend, and welcome to the K2 Sauces 300 live from the Thompson Speedway. My name is PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, and tonight, as always, I'll be joined by my partner in crime, Mr. Paul Coleman Jr. And Paul, we're getting ready for 300 laps of exciting racing action here from the Thompson Speedway. Before we do anything, let's go over Paul Coleman Jr.'s 4 keys to the race.
All right, PD, yeah, we're looking forward to this. This is going to be a barn burner of a race. We got some new competitors in here. We got a guy, Austin Edwards, who's starting from the back, but it's going to light it all up here. But yeah, our keys to the race. First of all, turns 2 and 4. A lot of people through the practice sessions and then also in the qualifiers really had trouble holding their lines. They'd slide up a lane, things of that nature. And that's really going to be a thing to watch out for, because when trying to make a pass and holding your line, which brings us to the turn 4 bump. As most people know that are familiar with iRacing, these tracks are laser scanned, which means they get everything down to the exact millimeter. Well, when they scanned Thompson, there was this bump in turn 4, and so that bump is part of that. And guys, when they hit that bump, automatically go up a lane. So you might see some unintended contact from that. And then, yeah, let's see. You got to fuel mileage. Fuel mileage is also a very big key in this race. We got 6.6 gallons of fuel, unlike the Olympic cap, so these guys are short. So using some strategy. Last week we had some guys use some pit strategy, so pit strategy is going to be most important. And then finally, when all else fails, use the door. Don't be afraid to use the door. Bang somebody out of the way, but just make sure you don't spin them. Got to use that door. Speaking of doors, PD, I got to head out the door to go back to my school board meeting. I shall be back. You hold down the fort for the first 50 laps or so, and we'll discuss what happened.
All right, Paul, look forward to you joining me back in the booth then. Until then, we will have KR Stoffless will be joining me up here, and we're going to go over things as we get ready to go racing. So here's a rundown of how things ended up playing out in the XCAL heat races today, or yesterday, excuse me. So the way it works is XCAL runs 5 heat races at 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11 Eastern. And in each of those heat races, 8 cars transferred to the heat race. And here's how the heat races went yesterday. So winning the pole by winning the last heat race and putting down the fastest time was Jordan Babinger. This is his 2nd pole in the young 3-race season, so Babinger starts on pole. Octavio Rondoletto actually won the 3rd heat in a very epic battle with Luke Turpin, 2 of the fastest guys in the league. Rondoletto did end up taking the victory in that one. Rondoletto starts 2nd. In 3rd, Chase Johnson, after winning heat 1 coming off a feature win last week, will start 3rd. And then going to the tail of the field are going to be Pedro Jose Luis Bywans and Kendrick Cryer, as those 2 drivers both won heat races but did not complete their minimum mandatory practice for the week. So KR, 2 of the fastest guys in the heat races, starting at the rear of the field.
You know, and you mentioned not meeting minimum requirements, and that is a cool thing about this league, is a lot of practice laps have to be turned because these drivers all put a lot on the line here every week, a lot of time spent. So if you can't at least dedicate yourself to getting those laps in, you know what? Head to the back.
And that was exactly the case, and like you were saying, XCAL Racing does require that these drivers run at least half the race distance in practice. So this week it was 150 laps, and Bywans and unfortunately Cryer could not get that done. And also a couple other guys will be joining up at the rear of the field. Clinus LeBluff in the 03 did not get his minimum practice in. He was scheduled to start 16th. He will be starting 42nd. The number 41 of Austin Edwards. Edwards is actually a last-minute replacement driver for Paul Coleman, who was going to start and park the car. excuse me, Edwards does not plan on starting and parking the car. He's going to run the distance, and he will be starting 41st. And starting shotgun in the field in 43rd will be Richard Holliday. He's in the number 27 machine. And actually, a fun fact, KR, Holliday raced with us in our 2014 season. He's actually my teammate at the time, back on the very first team I was part of on XCAL. And he was a very competitive guy, raced for a lot of wins back then. Hasn't been on iRacing for 2 years now. It's the first race, that first session, and all that he has joined in 2 years is this one right here. You saw Paul needed someone to run his last car on Facebook, and he said, you know what, if you buy my membership, I'll run the race. Paul bought his membership, so Holliday, a guy that was fast in the past, hasn't raced in a while, but he might be a sleeper to keep an eye on here.
Man, I look forward to seeing some of these new drivers. You know, I was thoroughly impressed last week as we put on a heck of a show at USA, and here we are at Thompson with some even more I don't want to say legendary, but more drivers that you guys who have been around are excited to see.
No doubt. Richard Holliday is certainly a name that longtime XCAL fans will recognize. And Austin Edwards, that kid driving the 66 car, I'll tell you what, so far in practice, he has put down the 4th fastest time. He's only 41 thousandths off the fastest time. So maybe a super sub in that 66 car. I looked him up. He has about a 4,000 oval I rating, and he really does compete a lot in those races. This is his first ever XCAL start, but maybe a guy that we're unfamiliar with might be in the mix tonight, KR.
Well, we'll keep a sharp eye on him. He does have some work to do, as this field very deep right now. A lot of cars here at Thompson.
All right, well, we are getting down to the grid here, so here's your starting order tonight for the K2 Sauces 300 from Thompson, Connecticut. Starting on pole position, that is, position number 1 will be the number 48 of Jordan Babinger. In second, in the number 77, will be Octavio Rondoletto. In third, in the number 15, will be Chase Johnson. In fourth will be Kenny Tripp. Fifth, Luke Turpin. Sixth, Tyler McRae. Seventh, John Schwartz. Eighth, Bruce Helmuth. Ninth, Brandon Varney. 10th, Heather Patrick. 11th, Pat Sullivan. 12th, Ryan Soper. 13th, John Friley. 14th will be the Josh Rogers machine. 15th will be Tyler Jalbert, 16th will be Ben Eaton, 17th will be Derek Colson, 18th will be Greg Holes, 19th Jeff Edgar, and 20th will be our in-car reporter tonight, Mr. Blake Wynn. And you can see the rest of the field going across your screen. We're going to take this opportunity to catch a quick word in here with Mr. Wynn, as the 81 car will be our in-car reporter this evening. And let me try to tune into his channel. All right, Blake, it's PD up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
All right, Blake, well, you're starting 20th in this heat race, or in this feature event, excuse me, but however, in practice, you were one of the top 5 cars in the pre-race practice session. Looking pretty quick. Luckily, you have a good car out there. How do you feel about the piece your team brought to the track today, Blake?
I feel pretty good. It got some more help with setup this week, so I feel like I got a good long run setup, which is really what XCAL is about, getting those long green flag runs.
Well, what's the strategy today, Blake? You're starting 20th. How do you plan on getting that car up front?
Try and save the tires, which my setup was pretty good at, and definitely try not to be too aggressive and damage the car by hitting the wall and stuff like that, and just working really to the front. 300 laps to get it up there.
All right, well, thank you for the time, Blake. Best of luck. We'll be talking to you more as the night goes on.
Okay, thank you.
That's Blake Wynn, driver of the number 81, but the field comes down the backstretch now. It's the Dropping Bombs, number 48, for the second time this season, or excuse me, they're coming down the front stretch. I got my straightaways all messed up there. But it's the Dropping Bombs, number 48 of Jordan Babinger, who will be starting on pole position for his second time in 3 races, and winning a pole guarantees you into the All-Star race. So he's extra guaranteed into the All-Star race, I guess, at this point. Here they come down the backstretch. The 48 will have the field at his mercy. Octavio Rondoletto will be tight to his outside. Remember, the outside lane is the preferred lane here at Thompson. If Rondoletto gets a good jump, he'll likely take the lead unless Babinger wants to use the door already. Here they go. Pace car turns off. Babinger holds him at bay, and the green flag's in the air. We're down and away, and Babinger gets a good jump there on the get-go. He has to wait to move until the start-finish line. He does move now. Babinger's up to first. Battles on for second. Last week's winner, Chase Johnson, goes to the inside of Octavio Rondoletto. Johnson gets a good run off the corner, but it's going to be Rondoletto on the high side taking the advantage. Johnson will slide up in front of Kenny Tripp. The first side-by-side battle on the racetrack is going to be John Schwartz and Brandon Varney as Sean Patrick gets up into the wall. Varney on the low side, racing with Schwartz. I believe that's for 8th position, and that time by, Varney had it by about a nose. Varney trying to take the 8th spot away, but he gets loose on the low side. Schwartz is going to keep that car going, and Varney will now be racing for 8th with the number 16 of Pat Sullivan. Up front, we have a battle going on. Here we go, second and third, or excuse me, it looks like they're going by the lap car of Aquinas LaBeouf. LaBeouf already has ran into issues, as has Jeremy Leto. Looks like a couple cars might have gotten into a little skirmish there, KR.
Yeah, a few drivers with a rough start here, but no caution flag coming out as everyone is able to get rolling, get going before the leaders come around. Good call by the admins to keep this race clean and green so far.
All right, well, back up front, we're going to look at our closest battle. We do have, well, they're all over the lap car right now. We have Pat Sullivan and Brandon Varney racing for 9th and 10th. Sullivan does have the preferred line around the racetrack, and Sullivan gets a little loose on the corner. He gets into the wall. That gives life right back to Brandon Varney. Varney in the one, he pulls back even with that 16 machine. Now Varney drives it deep in the corner. Varney has the spot, so move Varney up to 9th, Sullivan back to 10th. Ryan Soper, Pud is going to drop to his inside. Pud has nothing to do there. Pud pulls in the line. A couple of the guys we were talking about, Austin Edwards and Richard Holiday, two of the guys that we expect, and of the 78 of Pedro Jose Luis By-ones, three guys that we expect to go through the field pretty rapidly after starting 38th, 40th, and 41st. They are up to 30th, 31st, and 32nd. We have our first caution of the evening, KR.
First caution coming out, and I'm going to try and figure out exactly what happened here, because it came on quick. Looks like Taylor Jalbert going to get involved in the 04 machine. He is on the outside, gets loose going into turn number 3, jams on the brakes, a little bit of contact with the 5, but everyone doing some heads up driving, able to squeeze on by. The tough break for Jalbert.
And KR, I was going to say, sometimes people question, like, well, why do they throw the admin administrator yellow if everyone hit them? Because obviously XCAL throws their own yellows, or if nobody hit them, excuse me, if everyone hit them, they would be throwing the yellow. Right there, KR, he definitely had the main racing groove blocked, so that was a great call by Race Control to throw the yellow there, even though it wasn't a big accident. It very well could have been.
Absolutely, so a great call there as our race leader Babinger picks up the Ford Mustang pace car. A lot of drivers going to take this chance to catch their breath. And what is the rules here on free pass, waving around, anything like that?
There are 3 wave rounds with 2 to green. Race Control gives out 3 wave rounds, the 3 first cars laps down. So up to 3 guys can get their laps back at the restart.
There you have it. Great call there to get a couple more cars back on the lead lap. Several drivers on pit road. Pit lane going to be a bit of a challenge here tonight. We talked about fuel mileage, but short track, long time to sit on pit road for these street stocks. So how you get onto pit road, very important all night long.
It certainly will be, and it looks like we're gonna have everyone except for 1 car back onto the lead lap after this yellow. It looks like Quinas still buff, Jeremy Leto, and Steven Rex, or actually, hold up, that's changing right now. It's gonna be Quinas still buff, Steven Rex, and nope, it will be Jeremy Leto. So Quinas still buff, Steven Rex, and Jeremy Leto, they will be getting the wave rounds. Those will be your 3 cars back in the lead lap. Trapped 1 lap down after pitting here is gonna be Richard Holiday in the 27 car. So Holiday in his return to XCAL off to a little bit of a rough start, but starting in the back of the field, you had to kind of expect as much. So as we're getting ready to get things back going, one thing I noticed right on that initial start, KR, was the 48 of Jordan Babinger. He was really able to get an excellent start on that low side of the racetrack. I was impressed with how good of a jump he got down there, and he really made it no contest in a 1.
That is honestly a lot harder than you might think. That bottom lane here at Thompson, usually very slick, very flat, and that 48 stabbed the throttle, caught everyone napping, and went into turn number 1 without anybody challenging him for a spot. So a solid start for the 48. Can he do it again?
We'll have to see. This time by, they will be getting 1 lap till we go back green flag racing. And it's going to be the number 48 starting on the inside of Jordan Babinger. On the outside will be the number 77 of Octavio Rondoletto. Third will be the 15 of Chase Johnson. Fourth will be the 12 of Kenny Tripp. 5th will be the 99 of Tyler McRae. 6th will be Luke Turpin in the 454. And that Luke Turpin machine in the 454 last week, he was so close to victory. He was running up front all day. And KR, in the end, he watched fuel strategy and a bit of chaos at the end take a race that looked to be in his grips get away.
Yeah, just, you know, you can run up front all race long and still not win because you weren't the first one in the start-finish line. The 454 learned that the hard way. Jordan Babinger, right now, as the lights do come back on the Ford Mustang, we're going to go around one more time here before we let him loose. But Babinger in that 48 looking very strong with Luke Turpin. Right now, he is sitting about right where he qualified.
All right, so here we go, getting ready to go green this time by, they come down the backstretch. It's going to be the Dropping Bombs 48 machine with the field at his mercy. Let's watch the 15 of Chase Johnson. He got a real nice jump that last restart as he almost contested the 77 into turn 1. Let's see if Johnson can follow Babinger this time and maybe clear the 77 for second. Here we come down into turns 3 and 4. The 48 has the field at bay. They come down into corner, and it's going to be the green flag in the air. The 48 gets going, and so does the 15 of Chase Johnson. Johnson did get a good jump there. Babinger's clear for the lead. Here they go for second. Johnson drives it deep into the corner, but he gets way too low on that racetrack. That car is going to get loose, and Rondoletto just tiptoes right by him. Now here comes Tripp on the high side. Tripp is going to clear the 15. Now the 454 Turpin looks to fill the hole, and the 15 of Johnson, he dared to challenge the 77 of Rondoletto there at the start, KR, but he just got a little bit too low on the racetrack, and it really cost him as he's going to have to slide up into 6th.
Yeah, that 15's waiting for an opportunity to slide into a position here on the upper side of this track, the upper half of the corners. You can see that asphalt strip down on the bottom. That asphalt strip, a little bit deceiving, not a lot of grip in the bottom portion of it. And if you get below it, that track is very flat. It is very hard to keep your car under control. That 15, though, did an outstanding job. Just kind of picked the wrong line to do it.
Oh man, as we get up here through the field, I'm watching the 04 of Tyler Jalbert, who had a restart in the back. He has moved up. He's all the way up now to a 27th. He restarted in about 36th, so nice job moving through the field for him. And we do have a car in trouble. The 062 of Johnny B, he has pulled the machine off the racetrack. He's on the pits right now, the only car not on the racetrack. Something has happened to Johnny B, and he is not out there able to compete, so a tough break for John Brancaccio. And we'll try to figure out what happened to him momentarily, but looking back up front to some of these battles near the front of the field, we do have our top 5 or 6, honestly, all under a blanket. First battle on the racetrack is, it looks like Tyler McRae just got shuffled back a few spots. He's going to slide into the 10th position now behind the 16 of Pat Sullivan, so McRae looks like he dropped 3 or 4 spots, and now he'll have a challenge from behind in the 84 of Brian Soper. Looking through the field, though, no real great battles going on right now. It does look like the 15 of Johnson, though, is running hard on the bumper of Luke Turpin.
Yeah, that 454 has a mirror full of the 15. Luke Turpin, Chase Johnson battling it out for 4th and 5th spot, as we do have one driver rejoining the race. That is Johnny B, as he makes his way off of pit lane and trying to find somewhere to slide in and get in line in this very long train of cars. 41 drivers taking the green flag here tonight.
Here we go. They are in heavy lap traffic up front. Babinger beats and bangs on the rear bumper of the number 20 of Jose Gaudino. Gaudino will get out of the way, and the leaders will go by. We got a freight train of Jordan Babinger, Octavio Rondoletto, Kenny Tripp, Luke Turpin, and Chase Johnson leading this field. Those cars all within 1 second of each other. 8/10 separate the top 5 right now, and it feels closer than that. You feel like you can almost throw a blanket over those cars right now. Last time we came here, KR, I know that was before Turn 3 was with us, but it was only 3 weeks ago. It was our last preseason race. We knew this was a tough track, so we wanted to make sure we got extra practice here. And actually in that race, it was a race-long 2-horse race between Octavio Rondoletto and Luke Turpin. Turpin actually took the checkered flag late in the race with a little pitch strategy, but I'll tell you what, last time we were here, that 77 and 454 were virtually nose to bumper that entire 300-lap race.
Yeah, your top 5 are pretty much could be considered nose to bumper. And they are all running very similar lap times, all trying to just wait for someone to make a mistake. And that's the thing here about Thompson, especially in the street stocks. There's about 1 lane when all the tires are fresh, when the track is fresh. You know, get a few laps in and get some heat into the tires, get some wear on them, get that track temperature up a little bit in that racing line, and we might see these drivers start migrating a little bit higher.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see it. Up front, though, not a whole lot has changed. We are still top 5 right now, under a blanket, no one really making a move. Then you got a second pack with about 6th through 9th. As looks like the battle for 6th is on pretty hot and heavy right now. The 01 of John Schwartz, usually he starts in the back and makes his way through the field. Today he started 7th, and he's still running 7th right now. And it looks like he has something for Bruce Helmuth. Here comes Schwartz to the inside in the 01 machine. The 01 of Schwartz trying to make that 1st and 15. Chevy Monte Carlo's stick. It won't, and he just lets the 1 of Brandon Varney now get to his outside. So Varney trying to make the pass here for 7th position. Schwartz going to slide up the racetrack almost into Varney. He is going to be okay, and now he is good to slide up in front of Pat Sullivan Sullivan, but Sullivan's going to fill the gap, and here comes Sullivan up for 8th position on Schwartz, and it looks like the 16 of Sullivan will take that one. So with just one little mistake there, Schwartz is going to drop from 8th to 9th before he can finally find a hole to slide in.
Yeah, that 0-1 machine got down to that inside coming off the corner, spun the tires a little bit, had to lift, had to lose all the momentum. The street stocks here at Thompson, all about momentum, all about trying to keep that speed through the corner and carry it down the straightaway. And right now, the one machine of Varney doing that as he's taking a peek to the inside of Bruce, but Bruce not going to let him get by.
Yeah, those are kind of team-affiliated cars, so I'd be surprised if we see him race too aggressively here. But Varney kind of expected to win this race. He hasn't won a race yet. He does come into this race after 2 races our points leader. That is right. He is currently sitting P1 in points, and he was a preseason favorite. He kind of was a no-name. I shouldn't say a no-name, but he came out of nowhere. We didn't really know Varney or who he was, and it turns out he's Kenny Tripp's nephew. And get this, KR, in real life, as here we go, he tried to make the pass on helmets for 6th. He has won over 45 races in all divisions at the Oxford Plains Speedway. He has been a champion in the 4-cylinder division, the 6-cylinder division, the 8-cylinder division, the go-karts. Pretty much if they have a division to race at the Oxford Plains Speedway, he's been a champion there in real life, and he is up there in all-time wins at that track too. He has the most ever go-kart wins, and as he loses positions here, it's needless to say though, the guy in the 1 car, his real-life racing resume is greater than most.
Yeah, Varney just fell victim to the same thing we saw happen to Schwartz. He got loose coming off the corner as he tried to dig hard down on that bottom lane here at Thompson, and Thompson really flat down there at that very bottom section of the corners, and just caught out Varney despite all of his experience.
And it's precisely that. He just got a little loose there. And it's Thompson Speedway, KR. I don't know how familiar you are with from your personal racing experiences. I don't know if you've raced here a whole lot on the iRacing service. It's certainly one of the most challenging tracks because there is only one line. Even if you're a lot faster than the guy in front of you, passing is so difficult here. You really do have to be aggressive to move up through the field here. There is no being passive at Thompson. If you are passive at Thompson, you are going to get eaten alive. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in the rookie series here, cutting my teeth on the Legends cars and the street stocks. A lot of fun, a lot of laps here at Thompson, and yeah, yes, I spent a few times here, a few laps.
It's a fun track once you learn the groove. If you know the line, it really is a fun place to get around. It's challenging because you do have to hit pretty much the same marks every single lap. As you see right now, these top 5 cars hitting their marks every single lap, and right now this looks like it's going to be a 5-horse duel. I mean, all of these guys are running about the same speed as each other as they start to come up on the lap car of Tyler Batchelder. Batchelder is going to be the 3rd car to go a lap down here as he's continuing to try to stay on the lead lap, but it doesn't look like his efforts are going to be rewarded here. Looking for our first real battle on the racetrack. It looks like Brandon Varney did just get around the 25 of Bruce Helmuth, so move Varney up to 6th position now as he's able to advance a few spots. And it looks like we've also had a change in position. Now up to 9th is Tyler McRae. He has gotten around the 0-1 of John Schwartz, so Schwartz is now back to 10th. As continuing to look around the racetrack, something really impressive here. Remember we talked about Austin Edwards, 4,000 iRating before the race. This is his first career XCAL race, just got a last minute deal with Paul Coleman. He started 39th, KR. He's up to 15th here on lap 34.
He has already gained 24 spots, and he is really picking them up and laying them down. His best lap is a 21.56. He has done that while cutting his way through traffic. Our race leader turning a 21.37 as his best lap. So man, give mad props to the driver making his way through Austin Edwards as he tries to make something happen here, starting dead last.
And not for nothing, but I have been checking the lap times. The last 6 laps, he has either been the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd fastest car on the racetrack, with 3 of those being the fastest. That 66 car, as he goes for 14th here on Alex Hallinar, he is going to be a force. He has made that very clear here in this early run. We'll have to see where Edwards ends up by the time this thing's done as he tries to find his way around Alex Hallinar. Looking though, see if maybe we have a more higher battle for position. It doesn't look like we do right now. It looks like everyone did make their way around the lap car of Tyler Batchelder, and it looks like Tyler McRae is starting to catch 8th place, so there might be a little bit of battle going on there. there. But right now our best battle was between Hallinar and Edwards, but Edwards can't do anything with Hallinar there. And I think one thing Edwards might find himself with problems here, KR, is that I learned this because I did run the last time we came to Thompson. Once your tires go bad, like, you can kind of try to force the inside pass on fresh tires, but once you use up your tires enough, like he obviously has going from 39th to 15th, it gets to a point where you're just going to never get to stick on the bottom side of the racetrack, and you're just kind of have to wait till the next tire cycle to start picking up spots again.
Yeah, Petey, I've been noticing that he has really been working that wheel back and forth on that 66 machine, and these Thompson Speedway and the the street stock, when you get those tires hot, they really start to get angry. You know, you can abuse these tires and they will come back, but you get them angry, you'll go into that corner one time and think you have something, and there will be nothing there.
That is no doubt about that one right there. As we do have some good racers. Sorry, that was not a battle for position. That was the lap car actually battling back there. I was trying to find a good battle for position. But it looks like we still have pretty much the best battle right now is for about 14th and 15th, as Edwards is still all over Hallinar. In front of them, Ryan Soper did just drop a spot to Trevor Birchmere, who's moved up to 11th. And it looks like Tyler McRae has lost 9th again to John Schwartz in the 01. Actually, Schwartz has been running some really fast lap times. Looks like his setup's coming in the later this run gets. He's starting to track down Bruce Helmuth for 8th, so he is all over Helmuth right there. Still, though, our top 5 all within reach of each other. I mean, those guys are running wicked pace right now. And if you're one of those guys, you got to think kind of like Austin Edwards, who we just talked about, who we know is going to be fast but needs to get up through the field. John Schwartz in 9th, who's running really fast laps right now. If you're one of these guys, like, that's great and all that you're fast right now, but watching this top 5 run the pace they're running and seeing how far they're getting away from the field, there has to be a little bit of urgency to try to make your way through the rest of the pack so you can battle with these 5.
Yeah, you do want to get through quickly, but I'll tell you what, I don't know about how long a pit stop is with a street stock here at Thompson, because I only ever did iRacing official stuff. But you know, you burn those tires up trying to get through the field, and you're going to need a caution to come out, because you will need to hit pit road. But man, putting fuel in tires, I know it takes a long time in these street stocks. I'm just not sure how it works at Thompson. I'll be curious to see how this plays out.
So will I. Is one thing I'm noticing here too up front is these guys really aren't racing for the lead. Like, Rondeletto has been all over Babinger's bumper, but he has just chose to be passive and not try to make any sort of a move here. And I think that's smart this early in the race. You know, just kind of play out your competition, see how good they're going to be. One thing I will say though, while Jordan Babinger's leading, let's talk a little bit about him. That 48 car, he's been good on many occasions, and I'll tell you what, he's just been the victim of a lot of bad luck. He has never won an XCAL event, not even a preseason race. And he has been so close so many times, probably more so than anyone else I can remember, as he's trying to work on the lap car of Jeremy Leto here. And for Babinger, his day is coming. And I'm not saying it'll be today, but as they go side by side for the lead, they're 3 wide from the lap car Leto. Oh my goodness, they're all going to hang on. And in the pre-race drivers meeting, lap cars were told to please go low if you see the leaders racing, get out of the way. You can see that Jeremy Leto right now, he doesn't care about that. He wants to stay on the lead lap as they're still side by side for the top spot, KR.
Yeah, that 85 now is going to dive down to the bottom. And, you know, sometimes it is a little bit hard for these drivers who are going to lap down to move down to the bottom. He was in close battle with the 82 of Alexander Gingler. Did I say that right?
Gangler.
That didn't sound right as soon as I said, so I apologize, Alex. But yeah, the 48 finally getting around. The 82 is going to go a lap down, and so Jeremy Leto and Alex can pick up that fight once again.
Perfect segue there, KR. Happy 45th birthday to Rebecca Gangler, Alex Gangler's mom. Shout out to Rebecca out there watching. Thank you, KR, for reminding me of that. I almost had forgotten, but happy birthday, happy 45th, Rebecca. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you're enjoying watching your son Alex go out there and compete with the best of the best in the iRacing Street Stock division. So things are still kind of calm, cool, and collected in this lead pack right now as we are finding the first battle on the racetrack, where things start to get a little exciting. It looks like maybe John Schwartz has gotten passed by Tyler McRae again. They both have gotten around Bruce Helmuth. So move Schwartz now up into 9th, McRae up to 8th, and Helmuth back to 10th. And Edwards has also gotten around Alex Hallinar, it would appear. Edwards is now up to 12th, and he is right on the bumper of 11th and 10th. So that Edwards 66, that's probably been the story of the race so far, KR. He's knocking on the door of the top 10. Oh, caution is out for the second time on lap number 50.
Cole Patrick getting involved in this one. The 51 and the 11 make contact here, but Cole Patrick in the 11 goes into turns 1 and 2. The 0-5 and the 5 make contact, and the 11, minding his own business, is going to go around as everyone tries to squeeze by that outside lane. So minimal contact there for these drivers. No one too hard into the wall, but just a tough break for Cole Patrick.
That is a very unfortunate break there for Sean Patrick there, as he had gotten a little bit of contact. Sean Patrick is not had the greatest luck as of late. So what this will do is this will give us 3 more cars back on the lead lap, and after we had our first semblance of a green flag run there, we're actually going to try to take a word in with our in-car reporter this evening, Blake Wynn, in the number 81 machine, as we're going to see how that first run felt from behind the wheel of the 81 car. So here we go. I'm starting to turn the knobs and try to tune into the channel of the number 81 of Blake Wynn. And Blake, it's PD up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, well, Blake, early in this first run, it looks like that car was sitting 19th after starting 20th, so not a whole lot of ground to be gained. Tell us, how's the car handling there in that first run?
It's handling really good. It's just there's a lot of checkup and the bottom line's so slick right now. And my setup's really made for the night when the race will be ended and made to.
So just right now is kind of the goal, just keeping that car on the lead lap, making sure that you're there for when the setup does kick in?
Yeah, just making sure everything's intact. Not too many incident points or anything like that.
All right, Blake. Well, thank you for another word and best of luck, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, that was Blake Wynn, driver of number 81 machine. And he does make a good point, KR. There are a lot of guys who set up their setups, because remember, this race starts at like sunset and it ends in the night. So there are quite a few drivers who do set their setups to be good at the night when this thing's going to end.
Yeah, and what that means is we're going to see some drivers who have been really fast in the daylight start to fall back, and the drivers who have just been kind of biding their time, all of a sudden they're going to start surging forward, and it really makes for great racing.
Yes, it will. Sorry, I was getting distracted there by one of the drivers was really struggling to get into the pits there. And looks like Paul Coleman Jr. is finally back from his board meeting, so KR can go back to his normal spot as the replay analyst. And Paul Coleman Jr., welcome back to the booth. Well, I thought I heard Paul make the coffee he was supposed to make, KR, but I think he might have just actually coughed from across the house.
It can happen. It can happen.
Oh man, that is that's classic Paul there. That's funny. So Paul will be with us at some point, I promise you. We're just waiting to see when and how that will end up happening. So it looks like we are going to get this thing restarted now with about 54 laps in the books. So Paul Coleman, by the way, just so you know, he should be joining us soon. It shouldn't be too long until we have our Paul Coleman with us. But here's going to be the restart order after everything went down in the pits. So your leader is still going to be Jordan Babinger. He won the battle off the pits. Second is going to be Trevor Birchmere. Third is going to be Luke Turpin. Up to fourth is going to be Alex Hallinar. Up to fifth will be Octavio Rondoletto. Sixth will be Tyler McRae. Seventh, John Schwartz. Eighth, Pud Ryan Soper. Ninth will be Matthew Bear. And 10th will be Ron Walters. As those will be the cars in the top 10. Looks like 19 will still be on the lead lap. And one thing with how funky the pit stops are here, and we talked about Edwards, how fast he was, running a lot of official and having a high I rating. He's probably ran a lot of street stock races, but not endurance races like that. He's probably not used to pitting. He actually lost a lap on the pit stop.
Yeah, that is going to be a tough one to overcome, losing a lap here. He's going to have to be very patient and just keep digging hard. But man, I'll tell you what, he's going to need a caution, and he needs to make sure he's one of those first 3 cars 1 lap down.
Kind of the same scenario for Richard Holiday. I watched him. He had driven up to the 20th place car after restarting the last car in line. Problem was he was trapped a lap down. So for Holiday, this race is going to be a race of perseverance after he got himself put 1 lap down. We are going to have to see what happens here, as we will be keeping a close eye on what Holiday and him are both able to do.
Lights are out on the Ford Mustang. The field has been stacked up. I think this time we're going to let them loose and get everyone back to that loud noise of the engine roaring, as the 48 is on the inside for this restart. The 32 on his outside. We got one slow down the backstretch. That is the 37 machine of Arthur Hendren. He's trying to get into position, and the lights are going to come back on.
Yep, Hendren was not in line, and Hendren actually a street stock champion in North Florida back, I believe, only about a decade ago. So Hendren with some real life racing experience, but couldn't quite get lined up there. So here we go. First two cars are going to be the Dropping Bombs teammates, Jordan Babinger and Trevor Birchmere. Babinger will be on the inside of the racetrack. Birchmere will be to his outside. Let's see if team orders come into play here, and maybe Babinger just slides up in front of the 32. 19 cars are on the lead lap here on lap number 60, where we will be getting the restart. Don't forget, at halfway, Higgins the XCAL superfan will be here with his weekly announcement. You will not want to miss that. It always promises to entertain, if nothing. Here we go through 3 and 4. The iRacing Ford Mustang pulls off. Babinger hits the go pedal. He's off. Green flag in the air. We're down and away, and Babinger takes over the top spot. Here comes Turpin for second. The 32 might have been too conservative. Turpin slides the car in, and Turpin will take second position away from the 32 of Birchmere. So Turpin now up to the second position. Third is Birchmere. Oh, well, Talinar gets squirrely down the backstretch. He's going to hang on to it. Tyler McRae looking to maybe take advantage of the situation as he takes a position away from Octavio Rondeletto, or at least tries to on the high side. He was not able to, and here we come. The lap down car, the 66, that is Austin Edwards, is trying to unlap himself manually here as he is in 19th, 1 lap down. Looks like Halinar has prevailed for 4th for the time being, while they race behind him for 5th. Octavio Rondeletto is on the inside, McRae's on the outside, and Edwards now peeking to the inside of McRae. Edwards with the fresh tires able to drive that car off the corner. Edwards to the inside, gets doored a little bit from McRae going into the corner, using the door, one of Paul's 4 keys to the race. And now the 66 drives the car off the corner. They wreck behind him. Caution is going to be out on the Speedway for the 3rd time.
Big stack up coming up off the corner. The 04 machine going and getting loose. Let's watch this one on a board. You can see, well, heck, I missed that one. Let's try and key this up a little bit better here one more time. Give me just a moment here as I try and get things caught. You know what? If this was easy, everyone would do it.
Amen. That's most things in life.
All right, so we saw a big stack up coming off of turn number 2. I'm just trying to figure out who's in the 04.
Tyler Jalbert.
All right, give me just a moment here.
And the funny part is, I think that caution was, we didn't need it. I think there ended up being no wreck. Race control was just anticipating one.
I think that's why I'm a little bit messed up here. You can see the 04 does get loose. Everyone checking up. A big stack up here as we ride on aboard with Ryan Soper. You can see all that 04 get all sorts out of shape, but man, no one really crashed. And so, yeah, I think you'd be right. I think a good call there was for the caution, but yeah, no one officially too far out of shape. No one flipping and turtle dubbing it.
KR, this is where it kind of becomes a big deal because Tyler Jalbert was given the penalty, a black flag for causing the first caution. And XCAL, if you get 2 strikes for causing 2 yellows, you get disqualified. So race control now, KR, has a really tough decision to make if they want to disqualify Jalbert over that.
Yeah, you know what? Very close racing off of turn number 2. We had just come from a restart, so everyone was still tightly packed. No one had really had a chance to fully spread out. I don't know how they're going to call that one, but the 04 definitely had some smoke coming off his rear tires as he came off at turn 2.
He certainly did, and it looks like the 3 cars that will be in the wave round are going to be Austin Edwards, Benjamin Eaton, and Greg Holes. Those will be the 3 cars getting back on the lead lap, and race control has just decided to issue the black flag to Tyler Jalbert, it would appear. Maybe Jalbert, actually, now that I'm looking back on it, I don't think that Jalbert was black flagged for the initial caution. I might have been mistaken on that, but nonetheless, Jalbert was issued a black flag because he did cause that yellow, and they're saying that was his first cause yellow.
Well, there you go. The 04 able to survive this one and keep racing. He's going to keep his hopes alive for getting in the victory lane here tonight. Not a lot of drivers on pit lane from this one, as we are just a few laps removed from the last time everyone was on pit road.
We are. So things are going to restart a little bit differently here. There will be only 18 cars on the lead lap now. More guys went laps down coming in the pits and whatnot. Here's how it's going to line up. Jordan Babinger will be your leader. Second place is going to be Luke Turpin. Third place is going to be Octavio Rondoletto. Fourth place is going to be Ron Walters. A good run for Walter. Or actually, excuse me, it's going to be Ryan Soper. Soper will be in fourth. Walters still, though, will be in fifth, which is a great run for that 9 team of Ron Walters. He actually DNQ'd the first 2 races, failed to transfer in the first 2 events. So I know it's very impressive for him that he was able to transfer into this one and is running the top 5 right now. 6th place is going to be Bruce Helmuth. 7th, Chase Johnson, last week's feature winner. 8th is Pat Sullivan. 9th is Brandon Varney. And 10th is the guy currently second in points, Marty Zakawa. So that will be our restart order here as everyone has the cars lined up. And it's going to be Jordan Babinger leading him down the back stretch. It does look like we will be getting the green flag this time by, here they come down the back straightaway. We'll be going green on lap number 69. As we get ready to let him rip. Turpin on the outside. He's crafty with these starts. Keep an eye on him to maybe hang with Babinger here. They come through 3 and 4. The pace car pulls off. Babinger gets ready to go. Babinger lures him. Babinger goes. Green flag in the air. And Jordan Babinger with a nice bump on the low side. He is going to slide up in the line in front of Luke Turpin. Turpin gets second. Third's going to be Rondoletto. Fourth is Pud. Pud races side by side with a 9 around Walters. Walters is going to race Pud close off the corner. Walters gets loose. Walters is going to hang on to it. Pud's up to 4th. Here we go. Walters is going to throw the block on Bruce Helmuth. Walters will slide into the 5th spot in front of Chase Johnson. Walters keeps that 9 Chase Elliott look-like car up in the top 5. And now we get to watch some of these guys who restarted towards the tail end of the lead lap make their way up through the field car.
Yeah, you mentioned that 9 machine. He's taking a peek to the inside of the 84. Nothing for him down the backstretch. He's going to go into turn number 3, following tight behind Soper. But man, I'll tell you what, that 9 looking like he's trying to make some moves here.
He is looking fast right now. The 9 Ron Walters, the story of the race up to this point, running up in the top 5 after 2 DNQs to start the year. What a great run that this team needed. They're just going to have to find a way to finish it out. There's a slow car on the back straightaway. The 51 of John Domino is beaten and tangled up right now. He is bringing that machine to the pits with no nose clip. And KR, it looks like the 51 of Domino, a string of bad luck's going to continue as that car makes its way to its pit stall with heavy damage.
Yeah, he pulls into his pit box and the crew begins working on that. We'll see if he's going to be able to make his way back out there, but you mentioned that front clip missing. A lot of damage there on that race car.
Up front, the battle for the lead is hot and heated right now. Luke Turpin runs all over the bumper right now. Jordan Babinger. Turpin just looking for some room to go. You know Turpin wants sweet redemption after last week's race that slipped right through his grip, and he is all over Jordan Babinger right now. He is not giving that car 1 inch of breathing room. As a matter of fact, he's bumped him a couple of times. He has used the bumper. Babinger continues to lead this race, though, doing a good job defending that number 454. Not too far behind these two is the 77 of Octavio Rondoletto, who's running just as fast, if not a little bit faster than the 2 cars in front of him. Big stack up behind them as they race for the deeper positions. Oh, looks like the 1 of Varney puts Johnson into the wall a little bit. Let's see if Johnson retaliates with the bumper. Johnson will not. Smart move there. I don't think it was intentional. So for right now, Pud hanging on to 4th, Walters hanging on to 5th, and the cars behind them just kind of hanging on for the ride, seeing if they can make their way up there. 17 cars run on the lead lap. Your Austin Edwards update, he's in 15th right now. He's 11 seconds behind the leader because he had to start at the tail end of the field from getting the wave around. He's probably going to need another caution to get some help to get to the spots he needs to be. But being on the lead lap is half the battle here in XCAL. With the shortened fuel cell and the way these races work, KR, if I was to give my keys to the race every week, my biggest key every week, and the key that I give to the drivers of the cars that I own every week, is the most important things you can do in this race is keep that car on the lead lap. Because so many guys make mistakes in the pits because they don't understand the strategy, and so many cars end up laps down. If you just keep that car on the lead lap, usually you're probably going to get a top 10 run.
And right now, Austin Edwards is in a dog fight. We got the 19 machine right there. And I believe that 19 is 2-3 laps down, and that is Matthew Bear. Edwards is able to get around the 0-5, also a lap down. So lap down traffic slowing down Edwards as he is trying to make his way forward. The 11 machine on his outside, another driver trying to work forward here, but a lot of them having some issues. That dropping bombs 11 on that preferred line, keeping that 66 pinned down.
He's doing a fine job of that right now. And we have a battle on for 6th right now. Brandon Varney got to the outside of the 25 of Helmuth. Varney goes to the high side. Varney's going to try to take the position away. Helmuth drives the car off in the corner, and he is going to slide up in front of Johnson. I don't know how he just pulled that move off. That was like the smoothest block I maybe have ever seen at Thompson. He managed to get in front of the 15 though. Now the 15 is going to drop down to the low side. Johnson engages battle for position here as he's trying to find a place to go for 7th. Helmuth is just right in his way though. Now the bumper is used. Johnson sends him up the racetrack. Johnson peaks down low. There is no room to race right now for Chase Johnson as he is just mired behind that 25 of Helmuth. In front of them though, Varney immediately catches up to 5th place Ron Walters bumper, and that Varney 1 car, he expected to have some speed. He started in 9th position, hasn't really had the best track position all night. He's had a hard time getting around cars, but when he is not having to race with other cars, he has a lot of straight line speed. If Varney could just get by 5th and 4th, I'd be curious to see what he could run compared to the leaders.
Yeah, Varney in that 1, now catching up to the 9. He's going to take a peek to the inside with a whole lot of momentum, gets that tail end stepped out as he got sideways coming off at turn number 4. Varney trying to work over Ron Walters in the 9. A lot of speed coming out of that 1 machine, but talking about speed, Luke Turpin has the fastest lap of the race so far here tonight with a 21.32, and Turpin sitting in 2nd place, taking a peek to the inside of Babinger.
As they do that, the battle for 5th is on. Varney has gotten to the inside of Walters. He races down there. Walters and Varney go side by side for 5th and 6th. Walters not surrendering on the high side. He keeps Varney pinned down to the bottom. Varney dives it off into the corner. Slide job attempt, slide job successful. Varney's going to take 5th away. Helmuth thinking about following suit, but Walters is pushing him down the racetrack. He says, "You're not doing that, bud." Walters, he is going to have the position. Oh, but Helmuth slides up to him and gets him out of the groove. And now Walters is going to lose 1 spot, 2 spot, maybe 3 if he can't get around Sullivan. Let's see if Sullivan, Helmuth's teammate, shows him the same mercy here. And yeah, Sullivan is just going to slide up into his door and push him up the racetrack. He'll get him out of the way, and just like that, Walter's going to slide back to 9th. And that was one of the keys to the race there. Use the door.
Yeah, use that door. In fact, if there would have been a hinge on that door, I think he might have opened it and just gave himself even more room. But a solid pass there. Babinger at the front has fended off the charge from the 451-4 of Luke Turpin, but that has allowed the 77 of Octavio to really close in as we got a few cars around. The 85 machine going for a spin through turns 1 and 2. Jeremy Leto, all sorts of crossed up, but gathers it back in, the lone Canadian.
Yeah, so he does get that back together. We have had a change for 7th. The 16 of Pat Sullivan's gotten around Chase Johnson, so move him up 1 more spot. Tyler McRae just moved Marty Zakala, and McRae now up to 10th position over Marty. Battle is on for 4th. We have Brandon Varney all over Ryan Pud Soper right now. Pud just trying to keep that car up there in 4th. Varney having none of it. I gotta say, Pud has kind of been impressive this week. The 84 machine, he has been quick. He was running top 5 in his heat race. He transferred the first heat race with, I believe, either a 3rd or 4th place finish. And it's been a pretty fast week for Pud. He's running up in the top 5 right now, and I think Varney is a little quicker. But that 84 just got a new sponsorship deal. Actually, K2 came on and is sponsoring their entry fees for the races now. And they're debuting the new LS Racing K2 cars in the K2 Sauce 300. So a big week for LS Racing there, KR. And right now, Pud putting the car in the top 5.
Yeah, the 84 machine giving that a good run, and you know, not a bad paint scheme either. Got some powder baby blue and some white, some red, some chrome. I like it. That car looking fast, and it's proven to be fast as it's sitting in 4th. But I'll tell you what, Varney really impressed me. As soon as he cleared Sullivan, he got to the back bumper of Soper in a hurry.
He certainly did, and he is all over that bumper right now, just trying to work his way by. Up front, the racing is getting a little bit more intense. Turpin sees the 77 growing bigger in his mirror, and he's getting a little bit more impatient. Here goes the battle for 4th, though. Pud just fending him off. Lots of great racing all over the racetrack right now. Ryan Soper in that 84 car. I guess, you know, he's running good right now. I shouldn't call him Pud. I should call him Ryan Soper right now. He's Pud when he's bad. He's Soper when he's good, and right now he is certainly Ryan Soper. Up in the 4th position right now, he is just trying to keep that 1 machine of Brandon Varney behind him. And if anyone's wondering why he has the nickname Bud, it's because he has had the most chat mutes in anyone in XCAL history, and he's only been a member for about 6 months. He just permanently has his chat muted now, and we would mute his Discord if we knew how to do that. So Yeah, there's he earned the nickname. Don't worry about it. As he is starting to hold up the cars behind him, though. I think the cars behind him are a little faster. And actually, we've had a change in position. Octavio Rondoletto just got around Luke Turpin for second. So Rondoletto picks up a spot. He will now get pursuit of Jordan Babinger. So a change there in spots. And it also looks like Trevor Birchmere is up to 10th. As now green flag pit stops are going to start taking place as KR, the 52, running 12th. Marty Zaccalo brings the car into pit road.
He does, but let's take a look at what happened to Luke Turpin. He made a dive down to the inside going into turn number 3 to make a pass. Luke Turpin coming off the corner didn't get the throttle down like he would have liked onto the front stretch going into 1 and 2. Really losing ground to the 48, and Octavio on the outside gets a good run down the back stretch, and that's what happened to Luke Turpin as he battled for the race lead, but ends up finding himself in third.
Just an unfortunate break there for Luke Turpin, but he is starting to lose ground to our top 2 a little bit. It looks like as this long run goes on, Luke Turpin actually is starting to get a little slower, and that's kind of uncommon for Luke Turpin. He normally has the best long run setup out of anyone, but KR actually this week he's been doing lots of preparations for the 24 Hours of Daytona. He's going to attempt that race for the first time. He's actually on my team for that, and so Luke Turpin didn't have a lot of time to practice XCAL, and it looks like his long run setup here it might be suffering, as he unfortunately is just looking like he's losing speed as this run goes on, and the top 2 kind of do pull away from him a little bit. Turpin, though, not losing a ton of time. He's still within tow. The battle for 4th is on right now, and let me tell you what, it is absolutely on. 4th through 7th, all under a blanket right now, and no one can just get around the 84 Soper. Soper doing a really good job keeping these guys in tow. And one thing that is probably most impressive about this KR is just the fact that Soper, this means he hasn't made a mistake this entire time. He has just kept that car in the main groove of the racetrack, and when you do that here on old tires, there's really nothing anybody can do.
No, the Soper machine doing a good job, but you do got to wonder how long will the one of Varney, is Varney gonna push that 84 into turn number 3, and Varney gets him into the high side. Varney now looking to the inside here, and Brandon Varney going to make the move as Jordan Babinger hits pit road.
Oh, and Varney puts Soper to the wall. Soper gets to the Varney. They wreck down the backstretch. That's going to bring out the caution. Caution flies, and what a terrible break for Jordan Babinger, as he had just brought that car into the pits. He is trying to get that car off the pits right now as they're still filling it with fuel. He's probably going to lose a lap here, and let's see, did he? He did. He lost a lap, but he should be one of the first 3 cars a lap down to get it back. But what an unfortunate break there is KR. We'll see what happened.
Yeah, now all of this has to spread out and play out through this caution period. But man, let's take another look at this one. Varney just made the pass on the 84, and they make contact down the backstretch. Try and get another view here. The 15 and 16 getting involved. Chase, oh man, I'm so sorry, I'm drawing a blank on so many of these numbers.
Chase Johnson.
Chase Johnson, thank you. Just wrong place, wrong time, but everyone, little bit of contact there, not a whole lot of damage, and Varney, a little retribution to the 84 as they gather back up.
Yeah, and Varney got the worst of that. He absolutely creamed the inside wall, and that left front clip is destroyed on that one car. Varney, I wouldn't be surprised if he couldn't get back up to speed here. And that guy is probably a championship contender, no doubt. He is the points leader. So for him right now, that is a very unfortunate break for Brandon Varney. We'll have to see where everyone cycles out after these pit stops. It looks like Ron Walters is going to be the leader right now, but I do expect to see him bring it down pit road. So we'll have to see where he cycles through after everything in the pits ends up taking place. As we are looking to see if Walters is going to come down this time by. The 9 car of Walters does peak to the inside, and he will bring that car into the pits. So it looks like he's coming down pit road. Brandon Varney sitting in the pits right now, getting extensive damage repair done to that car, and he's going to pull off. And actually, I want to take a quick word with Brandon Varney and just ask him how the car is after that. So we're going to try to key in the radio there, Brandon Varney, and see if we can get a hold of him. As I'm currently taking care of that. And Brandon Varney, it's PD up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Brandon, it looks like you took a hard lick there with the inside wall. Tell me, is that steering wheel still straight on that car? And just how extensive is the damage?
We got a decent amount of damage. It's just frustrating. Very frustrating.
10-4 Brandon. Well, just last thing, do you think the car, I know you haven't had it under green yet, but from the feel you've got from it so far, do you think it will still be competitive?
Yeah, we'll see. I gotta serve a black flag penalty for whatever reason. That was my fault, even though he bounced off the wall. So I don't know.
All right, Brandon, we'll let you catch back up with your team. Tough break there for the one of Brandon Varney, as obviously the mainly asphalt driver very frustrated there after what happened. Him in the 84 of Ryan Soper. So we are going to get a delay actually here on the caution. We're not going to go green this time. Here is going to be how everything's going to line up here when we get things back underway. First place, Turpin. Second place is going to be Octavio Rondoletto pulls off. We're getting things sorted out right now. Things are a little screwy, so I think that I think there might have been a mistake waving Austin Edwards around the pace car. And I am not entirely positive right now. I'm not sure what the deal is. Edwards is on the lead lap, but he did receive a wave around. And this is just a screwy start here. And it looks like Edwards may have accidentally been given the wave. I'm not sure what's happening here, but Edwards is in the top spot, it would appear. So kind of just waiting to see what happens with all this. As it looks like Edwards is going to pull into the second slot now, as race control is trying to sort this out right now and figure out what happened. We do have 14 cars on the lead lap as we sit. Austin Edwards is going to pull down to the inside now.
Yeah, a little bit of confusion here. The 77 now rolling back to the front. And man, I'll tell you what, if Austin Edwards looks like he's going to hold on to the spot here. No, now he's switching with Octavio.
I think he's technically supposed to be fourth. I think he's legally supposed to be fourth, but a mistake was made on race control's end. So I think they're sorting that out right now, KR.
All right, well, there you go. So lights do pop back on the Ford Mustang, but Luke Turpin on the inside as they are forming up at the front. And I think we're starting to see how this is supposed to line up.
I do believe we are, KR, and here's how it's going to go. So Luke Turpin's your leader. Second is going to be the 77 of Octavio Rondoletto. Third is going to be Alex Hallinar in the 57, our season opener winner. Fourth is going to be Austin Edwards in the 66. Fifth is going to be Greg Holes in the 61. Sixth will be John Schwartz in the 01. Seventh will be Ron Walters. Eighth, Stephen Rex. Ninth, Pat Sullivan. 10th, Bruce Helmuth. 11th, Ryan Soper. 12th will be Jordan Babinger, and 13th will be Kendrick Crayer, our last car on the lead lap. As we get one more extension here, as the 37 and 82 machines are going to drop back to the end of the lead lap. So a little bit of confusion here, is now the 31 of Rogers is going to drop back too. But whenever you have one of them cautions, KR, that comes out in the middle of a green flag pit cycle, it seems like things always get kind of screwy on iRacing.
That they do. And then when you throw in that it's 40 cars on track here, the only car we have out of the race, that is John Domino. Tough break for him. He's been sitting on pit road for the last 15 and a half minutes, still working on that car. His scorecard not officially pulled just yet, but he is well down on that lap ticker. So his night well and truly done here.
Yeah, he's just hoping to maybe get that car back out there and turn some laps for experience for next time. So we get the field lined up. We are going green this time. We come down into turns 3 and 4. Luke Turpin has the field at his mercy. The pace car pulls off. We get ready to go, and the green flag is in the air. We're down and away, and Turpin gets that car going, and Luke Turpin takes the lead from Rondoletto. He'll slide up on the top spot. Here we go. Battle on for third. Edwards on the high side. Hallinar on the low side. Let's see who's going to get that one, as I hear smashing and crashing behind him. Looks like some beating and banging's going on. Edwards is going to take over the third spot. Here comes John Schwartz for fourth on Hallinar. Schwartz drives that car to the high side, and the 57 tries to keep that car low. Will he keep it off the corner? He will. So the 57 of Hallinar is keeping that car underneath him, but now he'll just succeed. Now the fourth place runner will be John Schwartz. Fifth will be the 57. And caution is out as they wreck behind him. Caution is out on the Speedway, as KR looks like we've had another accident involving the 05 of John Friley.
John Friley in the 05 machine, making his way across the start finish line, goes into turn number 1. Looks like he got loose, and the 03 machine really just gonna plow into him, as the 03 just kind of had nowhere to go. We'll take one more look at this one from high atop the blimp, Clintz. Oh man, I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry, I'm terrible.
Clinus LaBeouf.
Clinus. All right, Clinus LaBeouf had to react to the 0-5, getting sideways in front of him. Not a lot of time to do so, and you know what, Clinus, I think he did the best he could, and the 0-5 unfortunately goes on around right in the racing groove.
So KR, if you had to guess without looking which state Clinus LaBeouf is from, which one would you guess?
Man, let's just say Washington.
Louisiana.
Close. I was close.
I get where you're going with the Washington too. That would make sense as well. But once he told me Louisiana, I'm like, that sounds like what they would name someone in the bayou.
Right? The LaBeouf, I was going French, but the way you said it made me think maybe not truly French, but Louisiana, absolutely known for some Cajun flair, which has a lot of French roots.
Well, it looks like he's going to get his crawfish a little early tonight, as he has been disqualified from the race, as that he caused that yellow. He did not get his minimum practice done, and the rules state if you don't get your minimum practice in and you cause one caution, you are DQ'd. The 03 has been DQ'd from the race.
Tough break for Linus. Man, you know what? I don't think I'd ever cut it in this league because I don't have enough time for practice.
It really does put a lot of pressure on your shoulders if you don't get practice to race extra clean. LaBeouf made a mistake, and you know what makes this so devastating for him now too, KR? Is that 40 cars out of the 41 that took the green are still within the 6 laps of the leaders, so he is going to drop to 40th, and John Domino's still in the pits getting that car. Actually, he's back on the racetrack. Domino's back on the racetrack 39 laps down, and as we're close to halfway, LaBeouf getting disqualified, there's a good chance he finishes last now. Yeah,
that is going to be a very harsh penalty, but you know what, sometimes those penalties are there to make you realize how important it is to meet that minimum practice requirement. And we're not saying that that spin out wouldn't have happened, but it definitely would have had a less likely if he would have hit all those practice laps.
You're not wrong at all. And so we did just get 3 cars back onto the lead lap. Here they are. They're oh, excuse me, that was not correct. Here are the 3. Richard Holliday, the XCAL veteran, making his return tonight, gets back on the lead lap. Derek Colson, another longtime XCAL runner, he's not making his return, but he is an OG XCALer. He's back on the lead lap. And Blake Wynn, our in-car reporter, back on the lead lap. I would talk to him, but they're going green pretty soon, so I'm going to let Blake focus on getting that car out there and ready to go. 16 cars in total on the lead lap, and then we have another 10 cars, so 27 within 1 lap of the lead. As we do have some good guys running a lap down right now. Marty Zakalo, 1 lap down. The helmet Kenny Tripp, 1 lap down. Tyler Jalbert, Tyler McRae, 1 lap down. Brandon Varney, I think I already said that's 1 lap down. And it's a real race of attrition here. You gotta stick with it. You gotta fight through the battles in the 300-lap street stock race. Things aren't always gonna go your way. It's about who handles the adversity the best and gets their way back through the field. So here we go. We're going green this time by. Your top 5 as they run are Luke Turpin, Octavio Rondoletto, John Schwartz, Alex Hallinar, and Greg Holtz. We go down the backstretch. It's that 454, the Turpinator, Luke Turpin, leading the field down to the green flag. He gets ready to go, and Turpin's gonna drive the car up off the corner. Green flag in the air. Lots of bumping and banging going on behind him, but Turpin does clear Rondoletto, so Turpin's up to the top spot. Here we go now. John Schwartz is going to slide into 3rd position. Behind him, Greg Holtz trying to follow suit up to 4th on Hallinar in the 57. Hallinar has the outside. No, Ron Walters is going to spin behind him from 6th. Walters spins off the racetrack, so caution's not going to fly. Terrible break, though, for Walters. Is likely going to drop to 15th after having a great day.
Yeah, Walters in the 9 machine goes for a spin, and the yellow does not come out, but the good news for him is he is in 15th spot, and we're not even to the halfway point. We might see a caution that allows him to get bunched back up.
We will have to see, and I'm watching some of these guys in the back cut through the field, and they are like men on a mission right now. Austin Edwards trying to pass as many cars as he can right now. He just got by Helmuth for 9th. Richard Holliday diving underneath these cars, making daring moves. I mean, these guys are out here just trying to get all they can get and more right now, and it is super exciting to watch. So right now, the best battle on the racetrack, I would say, is probably for about probably that last few battles in the top 10. We have Edwards right in the bumper of Kendrick Crayer right now, and actually Crayer after starting 37th, he's up to 8th right now, KR. We haven't talked about him a whole lot, but he was the guy that looked like he was going to win last week on fuel strategy until a late race caution foiled that. As Kendrick Crayer up to 8th right now, he's slowly made his way up through the field today.
Yeah, that 22 machine picking his way carefully. The 454, Luke Turpin just laid down the fastest lap of a race at a 21.27. A lot of drivers starting to set some of their quickest laps of the race, their personal best here tonight. So racing action starting to pick up as we're 121 laps deep into this one.
We're getting deeper and deeper into the night here, and things are starting to heat up, I would say. As the track cools down, the action and temper are starting to heat up a little bit as we have some great racing going on all around the racetrack. But Luke Turpin, what's impressive about that is Turpin just put down his fastest lap. So did Octavio Rondoletto. Rondoletto put down a 3:14, which was his fastest. Turpin with a 2:68. So, while Luke Turpin's putting down absolutely blistering laps right now, so are the two cars behind him. John Schwartz just actually 2 laps ago put down his fastest lap. So you're absolutely right, KR. The track is getting colder, and we're probably going to see a new bunch of drivers start to make their way up front. Those guys that really have these machines dialed in for the nighttime.
Yeah, the nighttime is the right time, as a famous broadcaster used to say, because that is when the checkered flag falls. You need to have a good balance, but if you had to choose to be better, it definitely needs to be better when it is dark.
So we are looking right now to try to find what's the best battle. Here we go. Oh, Pud hits the wall hard off of turn 2, and he lets Crayer get to his outside, but Pud drives it deep in the corner. He slides up in front of Crayer. Crayer trying to find a way around, and now Edwards is going to take advantage of the situation. Edwards drives down low underneath the 22 of Crayer. Austin Edwards going for that 8th position right now. Edwards gets a good run off the corner. Edwards is going to clear Crayer. Does he know he's clear? Yes, he does. He slides up in the line. Now we're going to have the 25 of Helmuth make a move on Crayer. Helmuth drives that car down to the low side. Crayer just trying to hold on to the high side. Crayer drives the car up the corner, and he is good right now. And actually, nice move here for the 66. He has enough of a gap to try to make a move on Pud if he wants to. I believe he is faster as the car just got shuffled out of the way. That's Jordan Babinger. He just got pushed way out of the groove. Tough break there for the guy who's led the most laps so far. Here we go, battle for 7th. Edwards dive bombs the 84 of Ryan Soper. Move Edwards now up into the 7th spot. This is probably the highest we've seen Edwards run under green all night. Let's see if maybe he can start to make his way up towards that top 5.
The 22 machine of Crayer now working his way to the inside of the 84 of Soper. Not going to make the move down the backstretch, tucks in the line, and Crayer now has the 25 of Helmuth on his back bumper. Helmuth being aggressive here, coming off at turn 4, got very sideways as he was digging hard to try and take advantage of the 22.
We'll see if the 22 of Crayer can get around the 84 of Soper. Crayer has really done a good job this race, but he has not had the same success that Austin Edwards has had getting around Ryan Soper. I mean, Edwards just kind of made it happen, that Nike phrase, just do it. That's kind of what Edwards did, is Edwards now is running his fastest laps of this session, as most of the guys in the race are right now. Battle's kind of heated up for 3rd. Alex Hallinar has caught up to the bumper of John Schwartz. That battle looks like it's going to start to heat up here in a few laps if those two continue to race as close as they are. And caution is out on the speedway. We have our 5th caution of the night, as we have an accident in turn 2, it would appear. I believe we have actually I can't see who went around.
Benjamin Eaton in the 2 machine going to make contact with the 19, and Eaton tumbling through 1 and 2, lands on all 4s. And the yellow flag rightfully coming out on that one as the 2 and the 19 make contact. And I will say Eaton does get rolling, but man, concussion protocol being involved with this guy.
He certainly has a tough break there, so caution is out on the speedway. This gives us a nice chance now to talk to our in-car reporter again, Blake Wynn, as we're going to pull him up here. And Blake Wynn, it's PD up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
All right, well, Blake, right now, looks like you have that car sitting 14th as one of the last cars on the lead lap. You kind of just survived and kept that car on the lead lap like you said you wanted to. Here, we're about 20 laps away from halfway. How's your strategy start to change a little bit now as we start to get into the night?
It should come into play. I think I have a little bit of front end damage, so I don't know if it's trying to watch that and decide if I should hit it or not. But really just worrying about like where the pace car is from the pit, because that cost me the first time, but I got a wave around, so I'm back on the lead lap now.
All right, well, Blake, so now that's nighttime, your car starts to get faster. What do you think is a realistic finishing position for the 81 machine tonight?
Shooting for a top 10 because yeah, there's not many cars left on the lead lap and we're not even halfway, so the odds are looking pretty good as long as I can get this little bit of damage fixed. Stay on fresh tires.
All right, well, Blake, we'll talk to you again. Best of luck, my friend.
Thank you.
As Blake won in the 81 Gas and Go machine. Blake Wynn will be restarting this one. Looks like it's the last car on the lead lap. Ben Eaton did get a black flag. By the way, that 81 is sponsored by More Polish Pottery. You can check them out at morepolishpottery.com. So that's a real sponsor there for the 81 to win. As we're going to have a lot of cars back on the lead lap. A lot of guys opted to take the wave around. And it actually looks like we are going to have 25 cars on the lead lap, up from 16 KR.
Yeah, quite a few drivers will be excited to be back on the lead lap. Right now, the 77 of Octavio scored as the race leader. Austin Edwards, second place here. But, you know, with all the cars that we still have in this race, only one of them out of it, and that is LaBeouf, as he has been black flagged. So 40 cars, all of them trying to get situated, trying to get to their starting positions. Some of them still trying to get back on the lead lap. So it is absolute chaos. And I don't think our race controls had enough credit here tonight. They have an absolute monumental task to keep everyone in check here tonight.
It is a tough track to keep everyone in check. That is no joke whatsoever. Here's how we're going to line up when we get things restarted. It's going to be Octavio Rondoletto in first. Second's going to be Austin Edwards. Third will be Luke Turpin. Fourth will be Alex Hallinar. Fifth, Pat Sullivan. Sixth will be Ryan Soper. Seventh, John Schwartz. Seventh, Jordan Babinger. Eighth, John Schwartz. Ninth, Kendrick Cryer. And 10th will be Bruce Helmuth. As now, for the first time, we do get to see the 12th place car of Richard Holliday. This will be the first time he's caught up to all the other lead lap cars. So just like kind of recently we got our first test of how quick the 66 of Edwards really is, now KR, we're gonna get our first test of if that 27 of Holiday still is the same speed he had 7 years ago.
Yeah, that is honestly, that's a whole lot of rust to knock off, but the fact that he's gotten up to where he is tells me there wasn't a lot of rust.
No, driving a race car is kind of like driving a bike. If you're a wheelman, you're a wheelman. That really never goes away. And I can tell you from my knowledge of Richard Holliday, that man is absolutely a wheelman. I'm curious to see what he does here on this start. So we get the field all bunched up and we're getting ready to go. Green flag here. It's going to be Rondoletto leading the field down to the start. We go through corners 3 and 4. The pace car pulls off. Rondoletto brings the field down slow and he goes. Green flag in the air. We're down and away. Rondoletto will clear the 66 of Edwards. Rondoletto will now slide up in the line. Luke Turpin looking for a hole in third to slide into. It looks like he's going to find it right in front of Alex Hallinar. Behind Hallinar, Hallinar gets bumped from Ryan Soper, and a quick caution was thrown, but no one racked. Everyone managed to save it, and that was just kind of another case there of race control having the jitters.
Yeah, but for good reason. We're riding on board with Holiday for that one, and you could see the potential was there to be disastrous. But let's take a quick look. Let me scroll back through here and try and find where everything went wrong for some of these drivers. The 57 gets sideways, and if it wasn't for the fact that the 84 machine of Ryan Soper smacked into the Hallinar machine, he maybe would have gone around.
It was really an incredible save there by Hallinar to stop that from coming out. Now, I do want to say, I do understand why race control threw the yellow. It looked like it was going to be bad. But these guys, honestly, that's 2 times tonight. They have made incredible saves on what ended up being a caution. So a tough break there, though, for some of these guys, as we are now under caution flag period once again. So looking up front, nothing position-wise is going to change there. And honestly, Hallinar and Soper, they didn't even lose any positions in that. They're still 5th and 6th. And unless we have a penalty come out, we'll have to see what happens.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but penalties are issued based off of judgment calls from race admins?
They are, and so we'll have to see what race admin wants to say about that. So they can pretty much, if the race admin thinks they called it or thinks they caused it, they can call it on that car. At some tracks they will base it off of the lines on the speedway, what causes the accident, but here at Thompson there's really no valuable lines to look at.
Oh man, Okay, so now keep in mind, this is only the second time I've been watching XCAL racing. The K2 Sauce 300 absolutely has me enthralled. We're not even the halfway point. Last week, the halfway break that we had really threw me for a loop. I'm ready for it this week.
So am I, and in these XCAL races, sometimes they will have a few cautions early, but then later in the race, they will have a long green flag run to end it, as we kind of saw almost happen last week, so we got a couple late race yellows. To be honest with you, KR, I feel like we're on the lip right now of what's going to be a long green flag run. One of these times, we're going to get it, and they're going to run with it, and don't be surprised if these guys just pull out a 160 lap run to end this race. I've seen them do crazier.
Well, I'll tell you what, a lot of drivers making their way around the pace car. The lights have gone out, but I don't think we're going to be formed up in time, so we might have a lap or two still to go, and the lights do come back on the pace car, so we are going to do at least one more time around. Sorry. Yeah.
So we get the field doubled up as we go down the backstretch. It's going to be Rondoletto still in the lead. Second will be Austin Edwards. Third, Luke Turpin. Fourth, Pat Sullivan. Fifth, Alex Hallinar. Sixth, Ryan Soper. Seventh, John Schwartz. Eighth, Jordan Babinger. Ninth, Bruce Helmuth. And 10th, Kendrick Cryer. The first car out of the top 10 is 11th, Richard Holiday. We've been keeping an eye on him after starting shotgun on the field in 48th. He's up to 11th. Here in 7 laps, Higgins, the XCAL superfan, makes his return to the booth. I am very curious to see what he has to say this week. Higgins, the XCAL superfan, always a fan favorite, always a hoot. We'll see when he pulls up his sleeve this week. So we come down the backstretch. The field is at the mercy of Octavio Rondoletto. Rondoletto brings the field to a crawling pace down the back straightaway, that iRacing Ford Mustang. Brings the field into turns 3 and 4, and it's going to make that sharp left-hand turn. Field now in Rondoletto's hands. They come through 3 and 4, and the green flag is in the air. We're down and away, and Rondoletto once again will clear Edwards. So Rondoletto going to pull up into the top spot. Edwards is going to try to hang on to it in second. Edwards will. Battle is on for third. Luke Turpin and Pat Sullivan dueling, but it looks like Turpin is going to clear Sullivan. Not quite. Sullivan sticks the nose back in there. Sullivan drives the car off the corner, and Turpin, though, just going to slide up the racetrack a little bit. He does take the spot away from Sullivan, and now the battling's on intensely behind him as Pud gives him a little bump.
We ride on board with Patrick Sullivan as Hallinar to his inside, trying to make it work off of turn 2. One of the things that we talked about, keys to the race, cars getting very tight off a corner exit, and not necessarily tight as we see Sullivan drift that thing off of turn 4, but the racing space really tightening up on these corner exits.
It certainly is. I'm watching great battling going on behind them between Tyler Jalbert and Richard Holiday. Those two kind of dueling right now, as it's a lot of intense racing. Oh, here we go. Bruce Helmuth gets into it. Bruce Helmuth is going to save the car. Everyone's going to hang on. Helmuth is still sliding. He saves it somehow. Helmuth is going to lose a mess of spots there. Holiday is going to end up in 10th position racing with Kendrick Cryer. Cryer gets into the marbles. He's going to lose that spot to Holiday. Holiday's up to 9th now.
Helmuth not out of trouble just yet. You know how I mentioned you get these tires angry and you're gonna have to take some time to cool them off? Helmuth has really angered his tires. He has been out of control for an entire lap trying to get settled in.
It looks like he is still trying to recover. I think he might have found a hole in line to slide into. Up front, we're kind of looking at things, and the top two have pulled away. Austin Edwards and Octavio Rondoletto. They have put a gap between themselves and Luke Turpin right now. So this is getting pretty intense up front. First time we've seen Edwards running near the lead pack, and he is doing a fine job of it right now. Looking around at some other battles on the racetrack, looks like everyone's mostly single file right now. This time by, it is going to be still Alex Hallinar in 5th. He is challenged pretty good behind for Ryan Soper, and he's challenging Pat Sullivan for 4th, but really no one's made a move quite yet. So as everyone still runs in the pack, we are halfway down, halfway to go right now. And we are going to have Higgins, the XCAL superfan, join us.
We got Soper spinning. 84
comes out, the 84 Ryan Soper spun. So we're going to hold off on Higgins for a moment while there's caution on the Speedway, and we're actually going to send it to KR to see what brought out the caution right as we hit halfway.
The 84 machine of Ryan Soper going around to trigger the caution. Got loose coming off of turn number 4. Collects the 48 machine. and comes to a sliding stop on the front stretch right in the racing line. Does hold the brakes, is going to lose a ton of positions, but man, he made the right decision there by letting the field work its way by him before he even tried to make a move, because there were cars high and low trying to split him. That 84 machine, having a solid run, now has to start and try and gather it all back up.
All right, and we are actually going to now send it down to the backstretch where Higgins, the XCAL superfan, has a 30 rack of Natty Ice and a microphone.
Howdy, partner. This here's Higgins, the XCAL superfan. Apparently my colorful language last week made a few of you guys upset. Well, I'm a drunk, and it's real hard to watch what I say. So the super cool guys over at Turn 3 got me this sweet... Is this machine working?
Yeah,
There
we
we
hear you,
go.
Higgins.
All right. The guys over at Turn 3, they got me this super cool machine, and it knows when I'm about to swear. Check that out. Isn't that cool? Now, in the way of racing, next week we're sitting around drinking, not doing... I can't even shoot my guns. I got so into this K2 sauce, I went and sold them all and bought as many bottles as I could fit between the beers in the fridge. Anyway, catch us at the Rock in 2 weeks with a beer in one hand and a bottle of K2 in the other, and we'll see which one I can chug faster. Back to you, Petey and Paul.
Wow, Higgins, the XCAL superfan, really pushing the K2 sauce there, Paul, and what a great promo for the K2 sauce 300.
I came back just in time. By the way, Petey, I have to tell everybody, 2 hours of debating whether to open school or not school for 2 weeks. I am ready for the next 146 laps of XCAL racing. That 2-hour debate, crazy stuff.
That does sound pretty brutal there, Paul. I'm glad I've been here watching the race. What you've missed is a kind of sporadic first half. We've had a few cautions here, a few cautions there. I'd say we're probably about 6 or 7 right now. We'll get like a 30-lap run in, then have a caution. Then we will get like patches where cautions breed cautions. Hasn't been a stellar start to this race, but hasn't been terribly ugly either. We still do have 39 of the 41 cars that took the green out on the racetrack.
I do like, I notice here my driver to watch, who starting, not that I'm biased or anything, in the K2 saw 66 there, Austin Edwards, he's up to second. Has he been doing well throughout the whole race, or is this strategy?
He's done the mover. He has made his way through the race. He's had some battles. He's gotten up front. Also, the second K2 sauce car he added to the field, Richard Holliday, after getting trapped a lap down, he's finally broken into the top 10. He's up to 7th, and he's only been moving forward, Paul.
Hey, Ted, look at that. Team management is awesome. Glad to see that. Well, I'm here. I'm strapped in. I'm ready to go. I got my bottle of K2 sauce and my fine water. They mix well, and ready for the second half of racing here.
All right, now your other car, Johnny B, the gods have not smiled upon him. He's in 36th right now, 7 laps down. It has been a tougher day for Johnny, but still is the car out there in one piece. Just hasn't been a lot of DNF so far, so he's hoping to pick up a few more spots via that.
Absolutely. No, Johnny's one of those consistent runners there. I talked to him before the race. He's kind of looking forward to rocking him. He wasn't really doing too well with this track kind of thing. So this is one of these races you just got to get through, pick up some spots, hope some guys drop out, get a top 30, and move on to the next week.
All right, here we go through 3 and 4. The pace car pulls off. Field in the hands of Rondoletto. Here we go. Green flag in the air. Octavio Rondoletto does get the jump, and he is clear of Edwards. Rondoletto will slide up in front of the 66 K2 sauce machine, and Edwards will just slide in a line behind him. Edwards peeks down to the low side. Edwards drives that car up off the corner. He draws even with Rondoletto. Battle on for the top spot. Can Edwards make the low side work? He drives it deep off into the corner again. Edwards slides up the racetrack. He is still dead even with Rondoletto in the 77. They race back to the start-finish line. It's going to be Rondoletto in the 77. The 66, though, not giving up. That K2 sauce machine is looking good right now, and Edwards will eventually get cleared, so he is going to be separating Luke Turpin and Octavio Rondoletto. Certainly nothing to scoff at there.
No doubt. I mean, those are the two guys that have been dominating the XCAL here the first couple of weeks, Rondoletto and Turpin. So to throw another driver in the mix, this is going to be a good 3-way fight.
So we are, looks like there was a little incident in the back, but everyone was able to keep it away from each other, so no yellow is going to fly. Caution is out on the speedway. Just as I say that, we get another caution, Paul.
Yeah, I was looking to see who that was there. For once, I'm actually focusing on the front of the field here with the K2 sauce cars. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
We did
Looks
have
like
one car going up in smoke down the backstretch that did stack everyone up, and Ryan Soper in the 84 trying to make a move to the outside is going to get spun by the 06 machine. So a very tough break as Logan Jones really was just kind of wrong place, wrong time down the backstretch. And you can see there was a whole lot of chaos. The 84 tried to make a move to the outside as that yellow flag hadn't come out just yet. And man, tough break here from Ryan Soper. A lot of cautions for Ryan Soper here tonight, and I don't know if they should all be attributed to him or not.
I think Soper's going to wish I go back to that school board meeting since I've returned. He's brought out the last 2 yellows.
It has not been great. But I'll tell you what, Paul, now that you're back, I kind of want to regroup with you a little bit. We're just a little bit past halfway. Let's take a 60-second time out here and kind of gather our thoughts, catch our breath, have a quick conversation. We'll be right back on the Turn 3 Racing Network, folks, with the second half of the K2 Sauce 300. Good evening, my friend, and welcome back to the K2 Sauce 300 from the Thompson Speedway, as we have 25 cars on the lead lap with about 135 laps to go, and quite a few cars still within striking distance. The car that's actually in last place right now, Aquinas LaBeouf, he's tied with John Domino, who's gotten more damage. They're on the same lap. If Domino can get that car fixed and get back out there, he'll pick up a spot, or green flag in the air. Luke Turpin gets a nice jump for the top spot. Pat Sullivan's going to race side by side with John Schwartz for third and second. It's going to go Sullivan's way. Now Richard Holliday gets to the outside of Schwartz. Holliday is going to drive that car right on by John Schwartz, and for the first time this night, the 2014 top 5 in point finisher, Richard Holliday, he has driven that car up into a podium position.
That's exciting stuff. Starting from last, he's actually had no practice at this track. Just kind of got a setup, just jumped in, and heck, he didn't even have time to change his number, as I was informed during the break that I lost 2,500 points for him having the wrong number. But that's he's showing it when it matters most, right here.
He is, and I mean, still he could get you even a top 5 finish would kind of make up for that. As I hear smashing and crashing, and caution is out as we are under caution once again.
Somebody's on their lid.
Looks like like you said,
Marty
a driver's
Zakala.
on the lid. Oh, he's second in points. That's kind of big.
All right, we're going to check this replay out. as Marty Zakala in the 52 machine. The 61 is going to smack Octavio, and Zakala just in the wrong place, the wrong time, smacks the outside wall and tumbles, and unfortunately never lands with the wheels touching the ground. That is a very tough break for the 52. We're going to take one more look at this one. The 61 got out of shape as he gathered it back in, collects the 77, and the 52 was to his outside. Man, tough break for Marty here tonight.
Tough break, and we've actually had Paul Coleman has sprinted down to the infield care center, and Paul, I believe you're caught up with Marty Zakala, who was second in points after that accident.
Marty, crazy flip there. Did you see people eating some fried chicken in the stands all Carl along? What happened?
Nowhere to go. That's racing. Once I saw Octavia come into me, I'm like, oh goodness, sucks. I worked too hard for this to happen, and nowhere to go. That's just racing. Drivers getting loose, but we'll keep it going as long as we can. I'm gonna stay in here as much as possible and try and get as many points as I can. It's a bummer early on, but we'll see what happens. So sorry to the sponsors.
Hey, Peter reminded us you were second in points coming in, so you're gonna keep. What do you think? This gonna hurt you going forward?
No, it's not. It's just gonna be a motivator. You know, strategy remains the same as always. You know, just be consistent, be patient. You know, I was not hitting anyone at all. In fact, I only had 6X. All that came from under caution, from checkups. So I wasn't even hitting anyone at all. I was just being patient, making my move, and just had nowhere to go, unfortunately.
All right. Well, get as many points as you can, and we look forward to seeing you try to go for the win in Rockingham in 2 weeks.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so that's Marty Zakala, driver of the 52, and Paul, you gotta love it. He's keeping the good spirit alive, as he certainly isn't happy with what happened, but he seems as though he has a good attitude about it.
Absolutely, no doubt. I'd be a little bit upset, but no, watching the replay and looking at that, Marty got really lucky there that the damage and the pain isn't worse there, as Jeff Edgar and a couple other drivers actually flew under him when he was in the air, so that could have been a lot worse for a couple other drivers.
And we've actually had Ryan Soper. He has pulled the car off the track and he has actually taken that car behind the wall. And you want to know the reason, Paul? He said he was too hungry to continue. He said that he had not eaten dinner yet, and he said he was starving and would rather go eat dinner than finish this race.
Yeah, he did get that extra delivery of K2 sauce. As you know, K2 sauce is on both the Ryan Soper and the 85 car this week. So they got that extra delivery of K2 sauce, so he's probably couldn't wait till the end there to try some K2 wings.
Listen, all I know is when my K2 sauce shows up, I'm not doing anything till I eat it all.
I mean, there's nothing better to do with a bottle of K2 sauce than just devour it in one sitting. Although the health department will have me legally say you probably should not do that.
Yeah,
Petey,
they don't
really quickly, before we go back to green here, if the Bills do win next week, will you jump through a table of K2? If we lather a table in K2 sauce, will you jump through it?
Whoa. Not the Bills.
Oh, the Buffalo Bills. When the Buffalo Bills win next week, Paul, I'll jump through a table made out of anything. I'm gonna be just completely euphoric. I probably won't even feel it.
Fantastic. Well, we'll get your thoughts on the game at the end of the race, because you have to preview. You did a great job of previewing last week's game, so we'll talk to you in the post race about the preview for the game against the Chiefs.
All right, so here we go down the backstretch. Luke Turpin has the field at his mercy once again. It looks like Turpin will be leading him down with Pat Sullivan at his inside. Richard Holiday right to his bumper. Here we go through 3 and 4. The pace car pulls off. Turpin gets the field backed up, and Turpin goes. Green flag in the air. We're down and away, and it's going to be Turpin taking the lead, although Sullivan does hang to his outside. Let's see if Turpin just drives it off deep into the corner. He will. Holiday drives it deep into the corner. Holiday gets it underneath Pat Sullivan. They go side by side for second. This battle's not over yet. They get squirrely behind them, but it's Richard Holiday and Pat Sullivan racing for second. Oh, Holiday gives him the door. Holiday's going to hang on to the race car. Everyone gets stacked up behind him, but it's going to be Richard Holiday moving up into second position. Now he has the weapon, Tyler Gelbert, to his inside. Gelbert drives that car deep into the corner. It won't stick, and Richard Holiday is taken over second, the highest he's run tonight.
Hey, listen to my key pointer there. Use the door. Remember, that was the last key pointer there. Use the door to get by, and he did that. That's exactly how you want to be able to use the door to get by. Great pass by Richard Holiday.
The only problem is when you use the door, you usually kind of make the guys you use the door on pretty upset, and Pat Sullivan's still running right behind him, so we'll have to see if Sullivan can do anything here to Holiday, if he can even catch back up. Holiday looks like he's putting some distance between the two, though. We look back in the field, battle is on for 6th. Bruce Helmuth just got the bumper from Jordan Babinger.
Ooh, we got a wreck in the back with Derek Olson, Mr. No Luck, and I believe that's somebody's on the roof. The 9 of Ron Walters.
A tough break for Ron, who was having a really good run today, and for Walter, actually that might be Frilly in the 05, I'm not sure. There's another car I think that just wrecked, the 25 of Bruce Helmuth, and this one is starting to get a little bit ugly here.
Yeah, we just watched the first shot of this one, Ron Walters going up and over in the 9 machine, and it looked like that was just an accordion effect. The 15 got turned by the 57, everyone trying to check up, and Ron Walters getting the very harsh end of that accordion effect. The 20 is spun down to the inside, the 61, the 5 is stuck on the outside here as he grabs the gear and gets rolling. But man, this was a huge wreck coming off, or I should say not coming off, but going into turn 3, as it really started a huge log jam.
So it looks like everyone has everyone in that wreck. The worst end of that was Ron Walters. He's going to probably be out of the event after that one. He was having a top 10-ish run going on today. Unfortunate break for him. It looks like William Karp in the 08. It looks like he also got a decent piece of that. And just a really tough break for a lot of drivers here, as frustration's starting to wear in as we get towards the penultimate 100 laps of this race here.
Yeah, I forget which great Nostradamus said that cautions breed cautions, but that is certainly the case. That was definitely an XCAL visual representation of the last 2 hours of board meeting there. Just everybody just all over the place without any agreement. Let's hope for a little longer green flag run here.
All right, so the leader still is going to be Luke Turpin. It looks like he has kept the car out there. Second place is going to be the 27 of Richard Holiday. Third is going to be Pat Sullivan. Fourth's Tyler Jalbert. Fifth is going to be John Schwartz. 6th, Bruce Helmuth. 7th, Jordan Babinger. 8th, Octavio Rondoletto. 9th, Austin Edwards. And 10th, Kendrick Krager. And the 78 of Pedro Jose Luis Bywans just got disqualified from the race for causing his first caution. He didn't cause, that was his first caution he caused, but he didn't get mandatory practice in. So Bywans, DQ'd, done for the night.
Bywans goes bye-bye.
A classic there from Paul Coleman Jr. as we're sitting here under caution, and Brandon Varney just got disqualified. I am not sure what that's about. He was sitting 3 laps down, 27th. He is the points leader, and he just got disqualified.
Shades of 2014 when I was running an admin race and disqualified half the field by accident.
Oops.
Varney is trying to figure out why he's been disqualified. Still no explanation from race control yet. We're trying to see what happened here. And race control has said it was a scoring error. He was not supposed to be disqualified. That was a scoring error from race control. So a terrible break here for our points leader, Varney.
Petey, do you remember when that happened at South Boston? Was that I accidentally DQ? Was that Spencer Preet?
Spencer Preet. I don't recall that one. Paul, do you remember?
That was South Boston. I forget if it was either what's his name? Cozy or Preet. One of the two. They were battling, and by accident I typed in the wrong number and completely ruined a points championship run for one of those two drivers. And yeah, I mean, this is one of the things we talk about. Admins do a fantastic job, but it is not an easy job. Kind of like teachers in a way, right? You know, you never really compliment them on the good. You really only see the bad. But I mean, our admins put in a heck of a job, and it's so easy just to make a small mistake.
So we were trying to figure out what happened here. Well, we do know what happened. It was a scoring error. They're trying to figure out if they can do anything about it, and they can't, because once you DQ a car, its scoring is invalidated for the session. So Varney is just gonna have to protest with XCAL, and I think the best he might get out of that is they might give him points for 27th position where he was running at the time of the scoring error. But regardless, that's still a terrible break, as he certainly could have gotten back onto the lead lap and battled for a higher position.
Yeah, he was running at some point higher than that, so that is definitely not a good break. Hopefully, maybe we'll send a couple bottles of K2 his way too. Maybe that'll help Tears just a little bit. Really quick before they go back to green, John Domino did get the car back on track and is no longer in last place.
All right, so we get back to the top of the field, and Luke Turpin, he is still the leader. Richard Holiday is going to be to his outside. We will have to see what happens here as we go down into the corner. It is the 454 in front, the 27 on his outside, Sullivan in third. Fourth is going to be Tyler Jalbert, and they're delaying the caution. They're trying to figure out if they can clear that black flag, Paul, but the damage is done. You can't undo a disqualification.
That's correct. Like I said, I've been in the shoes of admin there. I've done it. I knew it the second I hit enter that it was a mistake, but unfortunately, that's one of the things that iRacing still hasn't fixed in 6 years, is you can't undo a disqualification once a disqualification is done. They really should do the "Are you sure you want this driver disqualified?" button, but we'll maybe talk to iRacing about that.
They definitely should. So this one has just gotten messy here, Paul. Doesn't it seem like whenever they turn into the caution fest, that's when we have the scoring errors? Because whenever there's so many cautions, race control doesn't have to do anything under green, but whenever you're under caution, you were just giving race control more opportunities to possibly make a mistake, and so many cautions have given race control a lot of opportunity here to have an error. Absolutely.
No, there's a lot of stuff that goes on between the raid arounds, knowing who to give the UL to, things of that nature. Race control is really, really hard at work to make sure that this race is as fair for everybody as it is. So, I mean, there's a lot of work that goes on. We might have to get race control in here one of these days for an interview for them to talk about exactly everything that goes on, because I think it'd be fascinating to our viewers to hear everything that they have to do.
And I'll be really curious to see what race control does. What do you think is what would you, Paul, if you were in charge of XCAL, what would you do about this Brandon Varney situation?
I would, we'll play out, see how many cars are on the lead lap. I would score him as the last car on the lead lap at the end of the race. So say there were 15 cars on the lead lap, I'd score him 15. Give him 15th place points and a bottle of K2.
We'll have to see, but for the points leader, that is very, very brutal. So caution is still out on the racetrack. They're trying to figure this issue out. I think they're going to give up on it now, though, as they realize that there's no fixing this issue. So the lights do go off on the pace car. The field is doubled up. We will be going green this time by, as though the Varney team has packed the car up on the hauler and they're leaving the racetrack. A terrible break there for our early season points leader, who very clearly things just did not go his way today. They already weren't going his way, and that was just kind of the cherry on top there. So we come down the backstretch. The 454 of Luke Turpin has the field in tow. In second will be Richard Holiday. Third, Pat Sullivan. We go down into 3 and 4. The iRacing Ford Mustang makes that hard left-hand turn. Turpin brings the field around, and the green flag is in the air. We're down and away, and Holiday gets a decent jump, but Sullivan's going to pull right up to his bumper. Let's see if Sullivan uses the door. Here comes Holiday on the outside. Holiday drives that machine around the corner. He gets good off the corner, and it's going to be the Sullivan 16 sliding up in front of him. Holiday is just going to slide in the third spot. So Holiday now in the third, battles on behind him between Schwartz and Jalbert as those two go side by side. Looks like Jalbert's going to get around Schwartz. Schwartz will be able to slide up in front of Bruce Helmuth. So Helmuth now is up to the 5th position. That is for Bruce, as Bruce kind of looking for his first top 5 of the year. As behind him, there's a big bunch up, and one car to keep an eye on here, Paul. Well, 2 cars, the 77 of Octavio Rondoletto now up to 7th, and that 66 of Austin Edwards. 2 of the quickest cars in the field, mired behind some traffic, while Luke Turpin starts to pull away.
Yeah, traffic, that was one of my other key points there. Traffic is pretty difficult to pass here, with really only one good racing line. Is Holiday looks like he's about to get past on the outside there, but with one really good clear racing line, getting by traffic here without using the door, making clean passes can be difficult. So they're going to really have to mind their P's and Q's, hopefully not get involved in any of the mess-ups we've had, and just kind of bide their time to get back up front.
So the 27 of Richard Holiday runs right up the bumper now of the 04 of Tyler Jalbert. He's looking to give him the bumper, maybe. No bumper to be given. And oh, Patrick Sullivan gets loose off the corner. He's going to hang on to it. Holiday drives to the outside of Tyler Jalbert. Holiday does make that move up top. He is now going to maybe try to look for a place to go in between them. Can he make it 3 wide? He does get underneath Pat Sullivan. There's a mess of race cars now wadded up behind him. Holiday to the inside of Pat Sullivan. Holiday is going to give him the door again. Sullivan goes up the racetrack, and Holiday does take the position away. Let's see if Sullivan retaliates here. He might not be too happy about the use of the door. Looks like Sullivan will keep his temper cool here, as behind them Schwartz and Helmuth race for 5th position. Looks like Helmuth on the high side is going to take that one away. So Holiday has moved up to 3rd. He'll set his sights on Tyler Jalbert. Meanwhile, Luke Turpin just stuck a peace sign out the window. He is pulled away by about 2 or 3 seconds here, Paul.
Ooh, we got Alex Halloner spun in the back there. Probably no caution. We got the 37 and somebody else also is going to avoid that. No yellow out for that, but just want to keep people abreast.
And Paul, the 66 bumper's damaged on that car, and he's losing spots. I think Edwards might have been trying to get through the field a little bit too hard there, and he's losing a bunch of spots. The tires look like they're starting to go bad now for the 66 Pauls. He is dropping spots.
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate there. You know, mired in traffic. I think he just kind of trying to get on the line. It's not necessarily something about losing spots as much as it is he's just out of line. It's kind of like Bristol there. He's getting freight train by, just needs to get back in position.
All right, up front, though, it is still the leader, Luke Turpin. The best battle on the racetrack is probably for 5th. Rondoletto is all over Bruce Helmut's bumper right now. Let's see if Rondoletto can make the move. Rondoletto does get the good run off the corner, and Helmut needs to be careful. There's a line of fast cars behind him. If he cannot really afford to give up the high side right now. If he does, he's going to get passed by 3 cars. Let's see how Helmut handles this. Helmut's starting to catch his teammate Pat Sullivan. That Sullivan car hasn't really looked right this run. That 16 has looked kind of off the pace. And he has a freight train of race cars, and I mean a absolute freight train right behind him if he are to make an error. So the 77 now right up the 25's bumper, the 25 right up the 16's bumper, all in a line here. I wonder who's going to pop out and make the move, Paul.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know how old Sullivan's tires are there, but I know he didn't put that last time by, and it's kind of showing there. He's holding up from what is that, 4th place all the way back to John Schwartz there in 13th place. So one mistake can drop him out of the top 10 if he's not careful.
The battle for 2nd starting to heat up. Richard Holiday is definitely faster than Tyler Gelbert. That 27 car honestly has been one of the fastest cars on the racetrack the last few laps, as he runs right on the bumper of Tyler Gelbert. Lots of great battles going on the racetrack right now, as Holiday does get the wall a little bit. The number 9, Ron Walters, has officially retired. He was having a good run going, a good top 10, top 5-ish day. Unfortunately for him, that run did just not end the way he wanted it to. So this time by the flag stand for Luke Turpin as he comes through 3 and 4. He will be displayed the 100 lap to go mark. 100 laps left in this race, 100 laps to we're home, and the battle for 2nd is heating up. Richard Holiday has gotten right to the bumper of Tyler Gelbert, and let's see how Richard Holiday does racing with the 0-4. He gets the run off the corner. Holiday is right there, and this is a tight battle for 2nd position, Paul.
It's really good. It's really good to see Holiday. Like I said, he's had 0 practice on this track, just kind of stepped right in, and he's you know, able to hang up there. Good of Gelbert, though, the weapon to kind of keep himself in front of everybody.
I feel bad.
Turpin's got a 3-second lead. That's incredible.
He has pulled away. I was about to say, I feel bad with someone having the nickname the Weapon, but I'm pretty sure he gave it to himself. I think he self-anointed himself the Weapon, so I don't really feel bad about calling you the Weapon if you want to be called the Weapon, as the Weapon currently runs in 2nd place right now with Richard Holiday right up his bumper. Holiday just kind of looking for a place to race, as these two are starting to get caught by all the cars behind them, and I think the Gelbert machine might be holding up Holiday a little bit, as looks like the 16 of Pat Sullivan. He has caught Holiday a few tenths the last few times by. Meanwhile, up front, Luke Turpin has just diced his way through lap traffic. He has just passed about 5 or 6 cars to put him more laps down. It's a very big lead for Luke Turpin right now, and it looks like he has no mindfulness to relinquish that anytime soon, as we have some beating and banging going on there for 6th and 7th.
Trying to figure out who a bigger weapon is. Higgins on the mic at halftime with a 30 rack, or Tyler Gelbert. I think Higgins might give Gelbert a run for that weapon title.
I'll tell you what, Higgins definitely gets us as an organization in more troubles. Here we go for 2nd. The 27 machine looks to the low side. Holiday just trying to find a place to race. He cannot. This lap traffic, he might be able to use some of the cars as a pick as they come up on the 05 of John Frilly. And here we go. Holiday going to go to the low side. He splits the lap car. 3 wide for 2nd position. Holiday makes the move. Holiday drives it deep into the corner. Use the door. Yep. Moves him up the racetrack. And Holiday off the corner. Cannot clear him. Using the door. That might have been a mistake because Gelbert's still there. They touch going down into the corner, and Gelbert now slides it way up the racetrack. He drove in too deep. Holiday does him a favor there by not hitting his door, and off the corner it's a dead heat. They go 3 wide once again with the lap car. Gelbert turns down and gives him the door, and now Holiday, the gloves might be off. Holiday slides up the racetrack a little bit. He makes a nice effort not to touch the 0-4 there. They continue to race down the backstretch. They touch down going into 3 and 4, and Holiday drives it in deep there, and Gelbert gets out of the groove, and he is going to relinquish the position to Richard Holiday.
And you got the 16 spinning. The 16 just spun there and collected 3 or 4 people. The 01 just barely survived, not getting hit.
And we were talking about the 16 Sullivan. Looked like he was really struggling there on that run, Paul.
Yeah, those tires, he needed. Well, yeah, unfortunately, you can't really pit under green or you lose everything. But he really probably needed a good stop.
Oh, looks like that really might not have been his fault, as I'm sure KR is going to show us the replay here in a moment.
Yeah, we got this one keyed up, and we're going to watch this from high atop the blimp. You can see trouble brewing, 3 wide going into turn 3. The 16 machine caught out in that call. The 12 McKinney trip ends up spinning like a top, and that was a wild one as several cars got involved. Patrick Sullivan, you talked about the 16 needing tires, and maybe this wasn't necessarily his fault. And no, it just kind of, you know, lap traffic. One of the things that we talk about here at Thompson, catching out a few cars here.
Well, it looks like almost everyone comes into the pits. We had a couple cars stay out. Richard Holliday stayed out. He has led a lap now. It looks like John Schwartz also has stayed out. He'll be up to second. And then we were going to have Octavio Rondoletto did come into the pits. Trevor Birchmere is going to be up to third. He did not pit. Up to fourth now is going to be Blake Wynn. He did not pit. Let's see if these guys pit this time. Holiday does cut into the pits, and so will most of these guys. Birchmere is going to stay out, though. He's the one guy to stay out. And maybe for Holiday, a mistake not coming down the first time, as he's going to lose a ton of track position.
Hey, but now I'm only docked 24 championship points. I can look at it that way. Nice of him to lead that lap there. Maybe that might play off into a little bit there if he's going to try to short pit going forward here, because everybody has to make one more stop if he short pits. Towards the beginning of this, it may play out in strategy if we end up going green for a while.
If we do go green, everyone will have to pit again. The way this has gone, though, Paul, I don't know if I would gamble on that. This race could still, if we get enough cautions, this could be enough fuel to make it to the end. It'll be awfully close. And I just don't know if we've seen our last yellow flag fly, Paul.
That is true. Typically we do get things, but, we haven't had that, really, really long green flag run that we're used to on our XCAL races. Maybe they're saving it for the very end this time. Who knows? But, different strategy. As good as Holiday was, he may feel like he didn't have anything for the 454 Lou Turpin, or maybe, as I'm going to call him the doorman, that's Richard Holliday's new name. Maybe he just gave the door to the 04 just one too many times, and he wanted to kind of socially distance himself away from him for a little while to cool off that steam.
Well, the weapon is actually on pit road right now, so he'll be in the back. Looks like Crayer has come, or I'm trying to sort this all out right now, see where everyone's going to be standing. Birchmere will be the leader. Birchmere stayed out. He is the top car. The first car off pit road was Octavio Rondoletto. He'll be in second. Third place is going to be Kendrick Cryer. Fourth, Chase Johnson. Fifth is actually going to be Austin Edwards in the 66. And with the way this is going to be restarting, Paul, if that 66 can make some quick moves, he's sitting in the catbird seat. He's had the speed all race. He's just never had the track position. He is going to have decent track position here.
Absolutely. He's done the hard part. He's passed Turpin in the pits, right? So he's ahead of Turpin on the racetrack. If he can get by Octavio Rondoletto, that's really the only other person he's raced with that's shown anything with. He could be our leader here very shortly. I'd be supportive of that.
Richard Holiday just came down the pits. He took some more fuel, so he topped that car off. He is looking to hopefully make it to the end.
He's a KG veteran. He knows the XCAL rules. He knows fuel cap. I mean, all our races in 2014 were fuel cap, so he definitely knows the strategy. So, been 6 years. Might be a little rusty on that, but mentally, I think he's all there.
We'll have to see. So here's how things are going to line up officially. Birchmere first, second Rondoletto, third Cryer, fourth Chase Johnson, fifth Blake Wynn, sixth will be Edwards, or actually fifth will be Edwards, sixth will be Wynn, seventh will be Alex Gangler, kind of out of nowhere, eighth will be John Schwartz, ninth Helenar, and 10th will be Matthew Bear in the 19 car. So we're going to get a restart with about 85 laps to go, probably one pit stop to go. Paul, this one is far from over, and things are probably just starting to get exciting.
Absolutely. This is go time, though. I mean, if you have anything, like I said, if we don't go, if we do stay caution, you can probably stretch the fuel. So you're going to want to get all the track position you can as soon as you possibly can. It's go time.
All right, so we're gonna have to see what happens here, as I believe the lights still are on the pace car as we come through 3 and 4. No, the pace car pulls off, fuel in the hands of Trevor Birchmere. They come off the corner, and green flag in the air. They're down and away. Birchmere on the inside will take the advantage. Birchmere is gonna have the lead at the stripe. He slides up in the line. Battle is on for second. Cryer and Rondoletto race for second and third. Rondoletto gets the run off the corner, and Rondoletto will take over the second spot. So now Rondoletto sets the sights on Birchmere in the lead. We're gonna have the 15 of Johnson get around Cryer, and here comes the 66 of Edwards to the outside. Car spins behind him. Alex Gangler. Looks like Gangler does hang on, and the 66 will get the nose cut off there by Cryer. Cryer slides the car up in line. So up front, it is the 32 of Trevor Birchmere for the first time this evening, leading laps. A little bit of pitch strategy, but Birchmere might be thinking he can make it on one more stop, maybe try to play the strategy game and see if he can roll the dice and play it nice here at the end.
Absolutely. Just an update. I know Benjamin Eaton's 26 laps down, but he just had another spin down there. But yeah, Birchmire, if he can hold himself up front, obviously that's the cleanest place to be. Up front, keep everybody behind you. That may be some strategy, but I think he's definitely, of everybody, he's going to have to pit again. He's definitely not good. But you know what? If we end up getting a long green flag run, he might be in the catbird seat too. It'll be interesting to see. Also be interesting to follow Luke Turpin, who's in 17th place, to see how he's able to come back through traffic here as well.
Looks like he's following Richard Holiday right now. He gets into Marty Zakala, who's 44 laps down a little bit there. Up front, Birchmere still leads, but Rondoletto is closely behind. This battle for the lead's probably going to heat up here in a moment. Birchmere trying to show the way around, but Rondoletto giving him all he can handle and more right now, and Birchmere getting loose. And for Birchmere, this is really the first time we've seen him lead an XCAL event, Paul. And he's up front late in the going. He has some of the best in the business behind him. Octavio, who's won a heck of a lot of races. Chase, who won last week. And right now for Birchmere, it's just you got to stay focused on hitting your marks.
Absolutely, no, that's key, and not to look in your rearview mirror too much. As we've seen, both Chase Johnson and Kendrick Cryer, their combined age still going to buy you a 30 rack of Natty Ice. Those kids are aggressive, and you know they're not afraid to show the bumper, show the chrome horn, show the door, show anything. You know, they race the first lap like it's the 300, so definitely got to be mirror driving.
So up front, it is still the 32 of Birchmere getting a good run off the corner, and Birchmere is going to hang on to the lead. He did hit the wall a little bit. That's what my big O was about, but he's no worse.
Oh, Turpin just got spun and loose, and able to save it maybe? Yes, he does. Oh, Domino into his door though and spins him, and now they're kissing, and now he's on his roof.
Caution is out as Turpin has made his way onto his roof. Turpin lands on his wheels though. He'll still be okay. He gets it back going, and he is gonna stay on the, depends on where they score him, but I think he's gonna be on the lead lap, Paul.
Either way, he did just pit, and we get a wave around regardless, so I think he's good.
And no, they score the 32 in front of him, so he is gonna have to wait for the wave around though, which means he can't come down pit road and top it off on fuel.
Unfortunate bad break there. Yeah, he and the 27 Holiday got together. We'll wait for KR to give the full replay, but yeah, that was not a good move on the 27's part.
Yeah, the 454 of Luke Turpin and the 27 Holiday do get together, and then the 51 machine tried to check up and give room. John Domino, who has been on pit road for an extended amount of time, did not want to get back on pit road, did all he could to stay off the 454, and just a little contact is what is going to send Luke Turpin to his roof. But Luke does land on all fours and keeps going, but as you mentioned, the 32 machine did get around him.
And the 32 just pit, so Turpin will take over the lead, and Turpin wasn't happy with the 32 about getting around him. He beat him a few times there, and he is going to get the lap back now the natural way, but still Luke still has to wait for the pace car to release him, and that just did not go the way Luke Turpin would have hoped it would, and I think he just kind of let a little frustration out there on the back of the 32.
That's a huge, like I said, he didn't need to pit, but, obviously restarting last on the lead lap with a full tank of fuel and some oh my god, I spoke too much at this board meeting. But yeah, full tank of fuel and 4 tires is much better than where he's at right now. So yeah, I can see the unfortunate frustrations on Turpin's part.
A screwy race here, as a lot of things have unfolded. Turpin with this late issue, the terrible scoring error that took Brandon Varney out of the running. Although in all fairness, Varney was 3 laps down, and I believe 27th whenever the error occurred. You still would like to see him fight it on his own terms there till the end. You don't want to see it ended via scoring error. And it looks like Luke Turpin was deemed the cause of that yellow. So now not only is he going to have to wait and not take any fuel, he's going to have to come down pit road and serve a black flag. And for Luke Turpin, a race where he dominated a lot of it, Paul, this one looks like it might be slipping through his fingers too.
Deja vu from last week. He was the guy to beat, and something happens mid-race. That's what I said a couple laps beforehand, that was going to be the interesting story, to see if Turpin can make his way back up through the field. Mid-pack is definitely not the safest spot. You definitely want to be somewhere else. I mean, he will get his lap back, so at least being on the lead lap and then having to serve a black flag, maybe only lose one lap in the process doing that.
Terrible break for Luke, but he is just going to have to stay resilient, as he's looking to have a second straight week a race slip through his fingers. And Paul, he has still never won an official XCAL race as of this moment right now. Didn't win one in 2014 or 2015. And he won a heck of a lot of preseason races. He's the all-time wins leader in special events and preseason races. Still is yet to win the real deal, Paul. As we're in race 3, we thought we would have seen him win by now. He's been in contention every race, but Lady Luck just has not been on his side.
That is an absolutely crazy stat. If you would have told me that we would be going into the second month of XCAL racing without a Luke Turpin victory, I would have said, but Petey, you've done too much K2. That is crazy. He's due though. He will get a win.
And Paul, if he doesn't recover for a great finish, he's probably going to be outside of the top 15 in points heading into the 4th race of the season. Not that he should have an issue qualifying, but just astonishing that he wouldn't be guaranteed a spot.
Yeah, that again, I would have bet my paycheck. I would have bet my paycheck on him being at least in the top 15. Maybe not the points leader, but definitely in the top 15. But yeah, definitely that's one guy you don't never have to worry about qualifying his win. Even if he gets unlucky in one heat, he's going to bounce back and get through one other time.
So here we go, down the back, or down through 1 and 2. It's going to be Octavio Rondoletto in the lead, second Chase Johnson, third Kendrick Cryer, fourth Austin Edwards, fifth Blake Wynn, sixth Alex Hallinar, seventh Tyler Jalbert, eighth Jose Gaudino, ninth Richard Holiday, and 10th Derek Colson having a nice run today. They head down into turns 3 and 4, going to get the green flag with 71 laps to go. The iRacing Ford Mustang makes that sharp left-hand turn, field now at the mercy of Octavio Rondoletto. We get going, green flag in the air, and Rondoletto, he is not clear of the 15 of Johnson. Does he clear him? He does not. Johnson still has the nose up there. Johnson will get the slide job done to him though, as the 77 slides in the line. Now Cryer tries to race down to the low side of Johnson. Cryer with really nothing to do there. Cryer, he's going to slide back up right next to the 66 of Austin Edwards. Edwards, he is going to race hard on the outside of that 22 of Cryer, and Edwards with a good run off the corner. Edwards up to third position right now, and Benjamin Eaton just got black flagged for a bad restart there. It doesn't matter, he's a ton of laps down. Edwards now up to third. Cryer's going to slip back to fourth. Big stack up behind them, as now the 57 of Hallinar makes his way to the outside of Kendrick Cryer. Cryer drives it deep into the corner though. He's going to forcibly take that position, so move Cryer into the 4th position still, as we have a great battle going on right now for, I believe that's 5th and 6th, as the Tyler Jalbert is on the outside right now of Blake Wynn. Wynn will not be able to keep the car up there. Now Richard Holiday gets to his outside, so Holiday trying to move that car up into 7th position right now. Holiday drives that car into the corner as we go through 3 and 4. Richard Holiday on the high side, Blake Wynn on the low side, and it's going to be Holiday with a heck of a run off the corner. And Richard Holiday, he has taken over the 7th position for the time being. As we go through 1 and 2, Holiday will officially take that position away, as now here comes the 53 of Tyler Batchelder. He's looking to take 8th away from Blake Wynn here. Blake Wynn just falling the wrong way right now. Batchelder, he'll take 8th position away, as now Derek Colson might try to take 9th place away, and Blake Wynn just can't find a hole to slide into, Paul.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, I was watching Luke Turpin there. He came out 2 laps down ahead of Greg Holtz, who's also 2 laps down right now. So if a caution were to come out, Turpin would be the 3rd car, so 3rd car 2 laps down or less and would be waiver round eligible. So right now, Turpin definitely needing a caution and definitely needing Bruce Helmuth to stay on the lead lap to keep his lucky dog chances alive.
So that's an interesting development there. We do have a pretty good battle going on for the top few positions right now. Top 4 all underneath a blanket right now. Rondoletto has not really pulled away from Chase Johnson. Johnson has been quick all week in practice, and he is still running in 2nd position right now, though Rondoletto looks like he might be a little bit better right now. Austin Edwards looks like he might be trying to find some room to get around the 15 car. And Paul, how about this? You got 2 K2 cars in the top 10, and Holiday is going to be challenging for the top 5 here in a second. You might have 2 K2 cars in the top 5 before too long.
I would have never dreamed this. If it wasn't a super speedway race, I would have never dreamed a track less than a mile having two K2 cars in the field. Thankfully, I have to thank you, Petey, for helping me up, finding me a replacement driver the last second so I could do this board meeting thing. But yeah, very, very excited as a car owner right now. I know how you feel when you see your cars doing well.
Yeah, and your cars are smoking my cars today, in all honesty, Paul. Harp is running 11th right now. He's had an up and down day. Schwartz has actually had a really good day, but he's mired in 14th right now. Looks like he might just be having some late race luck, maybe a little strategy on his part. I'm not sure. Up front, though, Octavio Rondoletto has started to pull away. He has opened up a decent gap on Chase Johnson. And for Rondoletto here, Paul, he has to see the issues that Luke Turpin had. And for him now, he has to be thinking, I already have one top 5 this year. If I can get my first career XCAL victory here today at Thompson, I'm going to have a pretty decent points lead over Luke Turpin, even if he might not be the leader after this race. I actually, if I'm doing the math correctly in my head, I believe that Chase Johnson will likely gain the points lead after this race. Based on how they run right now, that could change. But for Rondoletto, having a gap against Turpin, who many thought that this was going to be a three-way battle between Rondoletto, Turpin, and Varney. What a nice start to the year it would be for Rondoletto if this
really quick. Speaking of Turpin, he just spun with the 7 and the 85, ended up getting the worst of that there. The other Leto in the field there, not Rondoletto, but the other Leto, ended up in the infield there. But yeah, Octavio, probably went into this thinking that Turpin was going to be his main competition. He very well still might, but Chase Johnson right now is doing one heck of a job in up there in second place. And don't forget Austin Edwards. I mean, I don't know the status. It's just a one-race deal there, but if Austin Edwards can maintain his standing in the 66, combined with some high qualifications or whatever, 66 could be a car to watch out for in the points championship.
I'll tell you what, if you can have Joel qualifying the car and Austin racing it, that might not be too bad of a combination there, Paul. I want to note right now, let's give a shout out to Joel Blewett. I don't think we've mentioned him yet. Joel Blewett actually qualifies the 66 car each week. He's not available to race the feature, but he does race the heats. And Joel is one of the best street stock racers in the whole iRacing service, Paul. And he always gets that car a good starting spot no matter what.
Absolutely. He's fun. It's fun to check out during the heats. We'll have to get one of these heats broadcasted. But talked to Joel yesterday. He said in the summer, look for him. He's actually going to do at least one full-length XCAL race. He's in the UK, so it would require being up till 2 a.m. to do an XCAL race. But he did say this summer he's going to look forward or do it. So we look forward to welcoming Joel into a future event at some point in time.
Battle on for 6th and 7th. Richard Holiday and Tyler Jalbert going at it. Holiday is going to use Jalbert up a bit. Jalbert drives it off the corner, though, and Jalbert stays even with Richard Holiday. They continue to race for 6th and 7th. Holiday, he is going to maybe give the door to the 04. He will not. He'll hang on to it, and it looks like the 04 of Jalbert's going to get around the 27 of Holiday. And now Jalbert's up to 6th, so Jalbert will set his sights on that number 57 machine. And Hellnar just goes up the racetrack. Holiday gets to the inside of Jalbert. Everyone's going to hang on to it. Jalbert gets into the wall. Jalbert saves the race car. Wind dives under Holiday. Great racing going on here in the rear of the field. Battle for 7th and 8th is on. Holiday on the outside. Wynn on the low side. Holiday is going to get a good run off the corner. And Blake Wynn on the inside of the racetrack in that 81 car. Looks like he will relinquish the spot to Holiday, who has now lost a lot of ground in that top 5 where I imagine he'd like to be running. Still great racing going on for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right now. Our leader, Octavio Rondoletto, has gotten into some lap traffic as he goes around Jeremy Leto, a former teammate of him back when he was at his RKR days. Right now, though, our leaders are all trying to make their way around Jeremy Leto, and Jeremy Leto gets up into the wall out of the marbles. And so Jeremy Leto just gets out of the way there. Edwards now gets a little loose off the corner, almost leaves the door open there for Crayer. Crayer will do the polite thing there and let him continue to race on. I will tell you what, though, this lap traffic is now they get to Johnny B in the 062 car. It could play a factor. Rondoletto doesn't have the greatest of leads right now, and it looks like a car lost a motor. I think that's the 31 of Josh Rogers, maybe. I just heard a car pop. I'm not sure which one it was. No, it wasn't Rogers. We lost a motor somewhere on the racetrack, though, Paul. That's all I know for certain.
We'll have to send our spotters down and try to find that souvenirs for somebody. Really quick, getting back to that Turpin spin that I mentioned there, that actually mattered because that allowed Greg Culls to get by Turpin right now. So as it stands right now, if a caution were to come out this second, Turpin would be the 4th car, 1 or more laps down, and not get the lucky dog. So that's that. Also, you just mentioned Johnny B a minute ago. Shout out to fan favorite Johnny B, who was running really, really poorly. You said about 38th or something when I returned from the school board meeting. He's now managed just to pick his way up through that, stay clean. He's now in 27th. So again, respectable run there, easily could probably get into the top 25, as it looks like somebody just spun trying to get into pit lane.
So Paul, I gotta ask you again, what was the deal there with the K2 sauce for the drivers? Austin Edwards looks like he's gonna lose third here, Kendrick Prayer. How many incidents did he need to stay under if he wanted to get the free bottle of K2 sauce?
It was a top 15 finish with under 20x. So if they can stay under 20x points and have a top 15 finish, they would get 2 bottles of K2 sauce, or a bottle of each hot and regular.
He has an 18 incidents right now, so he needs to keep it clean. Holiday, however, only has 4x. Holiday has been running an awfully clean race, and he is still in that battle for 6th, 7th, and 5th as they make their way through some heavy lap traffic. Holiday is right on the bumper of Alex Hallinar right now, and Holiday is a good bit faster. He just needs to find a way around the Hallinar 57 that's been scrappy so far this race. But, you know, you have 2 cars with, well, Holiday without a ton of incidents. They're looking like they might be in the top 5.
I'm surprised with Holiday that he only has 4x with as many times as he showed Jalber at the door there without getting contact points. That's mightily impressive to be able to give the door and not get a 4x for it.
So the way we sit right now, this is looking like it might come down to a pit strategy race. I don't think we have enough laps for these guys to make it on fuel. So I think everyone likely will need to come down the pits one last time if we don't see another caution. And that can start anywhere between lap 280 and 290 when we see these guys making their final pit stops. As I do hear some crashing on the racetrack. Looks like everyone does keep it facing the right way, though.
Although, if we go green, Trevor Birchmeyer is one to watch. Remember, he stayed out and then did that pit. He was the only one to pit under that yellow flag.
We've had our first pit stop. Chase Johnson from second came in. Chase Johnson pit from second position. He came down. He lost 2 laps doing it, but he short pit, so he is going to be out there on fresh tires. And an interesting strategy move. He made an interesting one last week that won him the race. Johnson here again. To be honest with you, Paul, I like the call. I think that was the call to make.
Well, I definitely agree with that. I think short pitting, that was I think who was I talking about with that strategy? 27 Holiday or something like that, doing a short pit thing to stay out and do that. I think short pitting might be the way to go. Unless we go green. Well, Trevor Birchmeyer's got a full lap lead on Chase Johnson. If we go green, Trevor Birchmeyer is still my pick.
All right, we'll have to see. As he, like you say, he's only 1 lap down, and he definitely short pit the most. We'll have to see where this all ends up shaking out. Heavy lap traffic for our leader right now, the 77 of Octavio Rondoletto. And for Chase Johnson, for this strategy to work out, he needs to get around these lead cars that came out right behind. Like, he cannot be running the same pace as them. He needs to run a little bit quicker. As Rondoletto now goes around the 5 of Colson, he's trapped in a box right now behind the number 16 of Pat Sullivan. This is crazy right now. Here comes the 77 to the inside of the 16 of Pat Sullivan. Sullivan not giving him any room. Sullivan going to drive that car up off the high side. Here comes Cryer. Cryer now looks to the outside of the number 22, side by side for the lead, but Rondoletto is going to drive it deep into the corner. He's not leaving any room for Sullivan. He drives Sullivan out of the groove, and now Rondoletto is going to have the position off the corner, but Cryer did get to his inside. Crayer's right there. The rest of these guys make their way around the 16 of Pat Sullivan, and Pat Sullivan let the leaders get all up in a bunch. Top 3 under a blanket with 40 laps to go, Paul.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. Chase Johnson right now, though, is praying right now for no cautions. And we got these guys tight as a bunch because Chase Johnson 2 laps down. If there's a yellow right now, even if he gets a wave around, he's still 1 lap down. So he's in the mercy of praying right now. So he doesn't want to be, he doesn't want a caution, nor does he want to be the guy that causes a caution. So he can't be too aggressive trying to get those laps back.
Well, he just moved Austin Edwards out of the way, and Edwards was not happy at all. He gave him.
That's why I saw that. That's why I was commenting. I was like, if he moves and you get a guy a lap down that may not have anything to care for there, and just takes out his revenge, that's race over for Chase Johnson.
Well, he's right on the bumper of his buddy Kendrick Cryer. Let's see if he does anything aggressive here. He dives to the inside. He's underneath Cryer. I think I just heard another motor blow. As here we go. Chase Johnson, Cryer race side by side. No, Cryer's going to come down pit road this time by. So Johnson's just going to slide up in the line and let Cryer go into the pits. Cryer's put the hand out the window. He's coming down. Kendrick Cryer pits from second position. In front of him, the 25 of Helmuth comes into pit road. And we have seen an array of cars. Blake Wynn has brought the car down. Pat Sullivan has brought the car down. William Karp has brought the car down. We have 12 cars still in the lead lap, 12 cars that have yet to pit, as now Austin Edwards cycles through up to second position. Tyler Jalbert's up to third, and Richard Holiday is in fourth.
Mark this time down, 2 K2 cars in the top 4. Trying to look at the standings right now, where the 32 is. 32's running in 17th place, so he's the leader of the guys that. Well, actually, Kendrick Cryer did come out in front of that. So Kendrick Cryer right now is in the catbird seat.
You gotta wonder. Well, no, Cryer's not out of the pits yet.
Oh, he's not out of the pits. Okay, I was just looking. My timing scoring is a little bit delayed there. Yep, Birchmeyer is still the one in the catbird seat if we stay green.
Well, no, you want to know who's the first car that pitted? It's the 81 of Blake Wynn. The 81 of Blake Wynn is the first car that came down pit road. You gotta wonder if he has enough gas in that machine. But Blake Wynn is the one car that was able to keep it out there. It's the first car off of pit road. Still waiting to see when our leaders will come down. Everyone has to pit, but right now it would be Blake Wynn in the catbird seat if this thing went green and he did manage to get enough fuel in it. As here we go, Chase Johnson trying to unlap himself one time. He peeks to the inside of Octavio Rondoletto. Nothing doing there. Rondoletto's probably going to fight Johnson pretty hard for this. He wants Johnson to waste time. Johnson gives him the bumper. Johnson gives him a shove. Johnson peeks down low. Johnson has nothing there. He does not have time to wait on Octavio Rondoletto. His whole strategy revolves around him getting around the 77 right now, Paul.
Absolutely. If he can get by the 77, he's one lap down. Even if the caution were to come out, then you get a way around to get back in the lead lap. So that's this is his race.
Oh, he moves him. He shoves him out of the way, Paul. He moves them all the way up the racetrack, and here we go into turn one. They go side by side. The 15 of Johnson moved the Octavio machine all the way up the racetrack. Then he's just really lenient into one. If you're going to move him, Paul, you might as well door him. I mean, there's no reason to move him up the racetrack. Then the next corner be like, oh, sorry, man. You know, you kind of just got to finish what you started.
Absolutely. No, you got to shove him hard there, not that little tight little tap. If you want to get back one lap down, you got to make sure he's out of the way. But no, it's Rondoletto's smart to try to race him as hard as possible because that's one of his main competitions. Because if yellow did come out and you let him by, then he'll be right back there on a loop lap and battling for Rondoletto. So that's a pretty smart move.
All right, here we go. They go side by side again. Johnson gets to the inside. They are side by side. Let's see if Johnson does use the door this time in a one. Johnson drives it in a little deep, but he's just not doing what he needs to do here. He needs the door of the 77 if he wants to successfully do this. Right now, he's just using up his own stuff, racing with the 77, and Octavio Rondoletto has to have a big grin on his face. Here we go. The weapon is pitting. The 04 of Tyler Jalbert bringing the car into the pits. Jalbert pulls off, and now that's going to cycle Richard Holiday up to fourth. Edwards is still in second. He's not too far behind our leader. You see him as they're in this jumbled mess of lap cars right now. Here comes Rondoletto now by the 61. He goes by the 454, and Turpin actually is going to race him pretty hard here. Rondoletto and Turpin get awfully close with each other. They're going to hang on. Here comes Edwards down into the pits. Let's see if Holiday will come this time by. Edwards is now in the pit road. Holiday will not come down, and it is still Rondoletto out there in the lead. Don't forget, Holiday did come down pit road to take that little extra bit of fuel. Holiday likely can go further than anyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. Besides Holiday, yeah, he's the one guy that Birchmeyer's got the most. Holiday has the second most, so we'll be interested to see. Smart move there by the 66 to go down pit lane there as the leaders were getting jumbled up there, save some time, and hopefully this Rondoletto battle here uses up a little bit of Rondoletto's car and maybe places the 66 back in position for the lead.
All right, so after everything cycles through, Edwards comes out of the pits right now, looking at Blake Wynn. It's going to be really close between Edwards and Wynn, and Edwards is the first car off the pits. He beats Wynn out, so Edwards now cycles through to the top guy that's already completed his pit stop. We're still waiting to see when Rondoletto and Holiday and Hallinar and McRae and Batchelder will come down. Top 8 have yet to pit. 9th on back are good to go to the end. Top 8 still need to pit as we continue to click away laps. We now this time have just 26 laps to go. Rondoletto is still showing the way around the speedway. That 77 car is looking really pretty right now. And Paul, if he can run this down to about 15 to go, he can come in the pits and really just take a short splash of gas and get out of there. This will be exciting to see what the strategy is here for Rondoletto.
Absolutely. Rondoletto's strategy is twofold right now. He's leading. You got 8 cars on the lead lap. If yellow were to come out, those 8 cars would still be the 8 cars 1 through 8. Everybody else get their lap back, but they'd be starting behind him, so he's, guaranteed worst case there, and then obviously the longer you stay out, the less fuel you have to take. So if I'm Rondoletto, I'm running this thing dry all the way to the end.
And, you got to think Richard Holiday has the most gas. He'll have to spend the least amount of time on pit road. He is 9 seconds behind Octavio Rondoletto, but Holiday, I think, has an outsider's chance of this just because that car previously had the most fuel in it, Paul. I mean, I know it kind of sounds far-fetched, but Holiday in his return, he might be in the catbird seat to get his first career win.
That would be absolutely amazing. That would be the story of probably all of XCAL since maybe your upset victory at South Boston, however long ago that was. I mean, you know, Holiday at this point, you know, if he's going to go for that non-pitting thing, you know, he's pretty much solidly in second. Just save fuel. You know, Austin Edwards is the closest guy to him, and he's, you know, a half a lap at least behind. Just run around and save as much gas as possible. You may be able to drag it out to the end.
Halinar is pitted from third position, so now Tyler McRae's up to third. Batchelder's up to fourth. John Schwartz is in fifth, right on Batchelder's bumper. We don't know if anyone can make it. We don't think so. It doesn't seem likely that anyone can make it to the end. It really doesn't seem like what's going to happen. But these top 7 are still out here running. Rondoletto continuing to click away laps, and he has wore the tires out on Chase Johnson. Chase Johnson no longer can get around Rondoletto. Johnson just kind of has to ride in line behind Rondoletto. Now Rondoletto gets loose. He slides up the racetrack. Johnson gets to his inside. Johnson looking to maybe take a lap back, but Rondoletto just keeps that momentum up off the corner, and Rondoletto brings that car through 3 and 4. He gets a little tap there from Johnson, this time by 20 laps to go, as Richard Holiday has brought that car into the pits. Holiday has came into the pits. It looks like they are taking a splash of gas and going. It was a splash and go for Holiday. We'll see where he cycles out when he gets out there on the racetrack. He is coming back out right now. Edwards has gotten around him. Let's see if Wynn gets around him. It's going to be very close between Holiday and Wynn.
Rondoletto's fitting.
Rondoletto is coming down in the pits. Okay, so that will cycle the lead through to Tyler McRae. As McRae comes down the backstretch, McRae, here we go. He is not going to pit this time, so Tyler McRae is going to be your new leader out there. As Austin Edwards is the first car that's come into the pits. Blake Wynn is second. Holiday is the third one. We will see where Rondoletto cycles out. He's in the pits right now getting fuel. That car is getting all gassed up and good to go. Tyler McRae looks like he might, no, he's not going to come down this time. Rondoletto is still getting fuel put in that car. Looks like he took right side tires as well. Rondoletto, a longer pit stop here than I kind of would have expected out of him. And McRae now has officially cycled through to the lead. Rondoletto gets the car off the pits. Let's see where he cycles through. He is going to be 1 lap down, and he cycles behind Edwards, Paul. He cycles behind Edwards, so Austin Edwards now takes the top spot. We still have a handful of cars that have yet to pit.
That's exciting. That was not expected. Rondoletto stayed out there a little too long maybe on his tires. Austin Edwards did that smart thing to put it in the pits right before he hit the traffic, and that went out for him.
It's only a 1 second lead. No, I hear wrecking. I hear crashing. John Friley is slow. He's going to keep that car going. The 66 of Edwards goes around him. But the problem is now, Paul, there's only a 1 second lead for Edwards over Rondoletto, and Rondoletto's on fresh tires. Edwards is going to have to drive the absolute wheels off this thing to keep that machine out in front of him. And Tyler McRae still hasn't pit as we are coming close to 15 laps to go. Can any of these guys pull off the miracle and stretch this thing, Paul, do you think?
I don't think so, but, you know, I have not been, you know, focusing. Look at your guy, John Schwartz, is in second. You know, some of these guys have just been, you know, sandbagging just a little bit, saving fuel, doing whatever kind of thing. You don't know what possibly could happen. You know, maybe some strategy's been taking place that we're not unaware of.
All right, well, McRae's still out there, and right now Rondoletto and Edwards are in a battle. Here comes Rondoletto to the outside of Edwards. Rondoletto gets to the outside of Edwards. Rondoletto drives that machine up the high side. Edwards has to fight him. They touch doors. They go down into the corner. Edwards knows this could be for the win. He has to fight for this thing, but Rondoletto on them fresh tires gets the good run off. The lap car slows them up. They are still side by side. The 66 and 77, this could decide the race. The 66 keeps it to the inside. He cannot make it stick. The 77 of Rondoletto is going to get clear for the top spot, or for 6th for the time being, but what could be the top spot in the end. And Rondoletto goes around the lap machine, and Austin Edwards bid at a potential stolen victory here. Rondoletto gets into the wall, hard contact. Rondoletto keeps it straight. I was just about to say, Edwards' bid here looks to not be doing so well, but it looks like the 77 has gotten out in front of him and will take over the lead. But
we still have 12 laps to go, and as you just saw, Rondoletto put it in the wall. You know, a little nervousness through here. You don't know what's going to happen. Now they're in 5th and 6th place.
And McRae looks like he is pulled low on the racetrack. Yep, hands out the window. Tyler McRae coming into the pits this time by John Schwartz. He won't pit. Schwartz will cycle through to the leader. Matthew Bear pits, and now the last car on the racetrack that still has to pit is going to be the 01 of John Schwartz. JB Smooth with 11 laps to go is the only car who has not pit yet, and we will see if he comes down this time. I mean, that car is a tight mess right now. He's on such old tires, but he is just trying to keep that machine in position to win. But right now, he is going to have to stretch it, and yeah, he cannot. He's going to pull into the pits. JB Smooth comes down, and with 10 laps to go, the lead is going to cycle through to Octavio Rondoletto eventually. Unless Tyler McRae pulls off some crazy pit strategy, he will not. And it is going to be Rondoletto coming by the flag stand this time by. He will be in the top spot. Rondoletto leads with 10 to go, Paul.
No, I'm not supposed to cheer for anything, and you know we wanted, and as I mentioned there, I did say we were going to get a long green flag run. Looks like we had one. Will we see yellow, though, in these last 10 laps, guys?
He did recover, though. So here we go. Lead cycles through. Octavio Rondoletto's up to the top spot. Second place going to be Austin Edwards. And actually third right now, Richard Holiday just took over third position from Blake Wynn. So, Paul, you actually have your cars running in second and third right now.
I'm speechless. This is amazing. This is great stuff. Like I said, let's see if Rondoletto is able to hold on. I mean, he's technically been, you know, one of the class of the field so far tonight. I'm going to see where Turpin is. Where did Turpin end up? Whoa. He's still one lap down in 16, so he was unable to make up much ground there.
A tough break there for Turpin. Just a night that could have easily been him. It's gone awry, and he will unfortunately not be bringing that machine home in victory lane unless something miraculous just happens here at the end. Even then, I think it would take more than is possible. Octavio Rondoletto has the lead with 7 laps to go. Remember, when we get 5 laps to go, there will be no more cautions. So keep an eye on that. If Rondoletto can keep that machine out there for another 2 green flag laps, he will confirm that this race is official. There will be no more yellows. So Rondoletto comes by the flag stand. 6 laps to go this time by. He needs to make it back around one more time as it gets tight in front of him. The 5 and 28, I believe that is a battle for position maybe. And it looks like Rondoletto will get to the outside of the 28 now. The 28 will succumb to the 77. Here comes Rondoletto now to the outside of Derek Colson. Colson gets out of the way. This time by, the flagger holds 5 fingers in the air. 5 laps to go. Whatever happens now, it's a race.
Gloves are off. It's time to go for it. Let's see what can happen. Guys are pretty much spread out here, though. We're in the top 3. Looks like your battle's going to be between Dalbert and Blake Wynn for 4th place.
It will be, and it looks like they are dueling right now for that position. I mean, Blake Wynn doing his best job to keep that car in front of Jalbert, but Jalbert will take over the 4th position. So Jalbert, he does pick up the spot. A good move there for Jalbert. John Schwartz running in 6th right now. Good run for John Schwartz. JB Smooth. It looks like they're in a good battle for 6th and 7th, actually. Tyler McRae is here on the outside. McRae gets around the 0-1, and McRae now with a good run moves that car up into 6th. So a nice run today for Tyler McRae. He gets that car up into 6th position. 7th will be JB Smooth, John Schwartz. 8th is going to be Chase Johnson. 9th is Birchmere, and 10th is Cryers. I hear wrecking on the Speedway somewhere.
Yeah, the 04 and the 04 literally just drove through the 05, and then the 81, and they're all together, and the 11 spinning.
The 04 Rex, let's see if he can get it back going. Nope, John Schwartz and Tyler McRae get around him, and does Chase Johnson, and it does look like Kendrick Cryer will as well. So losing a bunch of positions there at the end is Tyler Jalbert. Gaining a spot now is Tyler McRae as he moves into the top 5. Schwartz up to 6th. Wynn is able to hang on for 4th for the time being. Up front, though, Octavio Rondoletto comes off turn 4, and the white flag is in the air. Octavio Rondoletto has never won an XCAL official event. He has never ran an XCAL official event until the 2021 season. He run numerous preseason races, but this guy proved that he was going to be a force to be reckoned with this league early on, and here they go into turns 3 and 4 for the last time. Octavio Rondoletto, for the first time in his XCAL racing career, is a feature winner. The 77 brings the car home for O Racing in 1st position. In 2nd, with a career best run for K2 Racing, is going to be the 66 of Austin Edwards. In 3rd will be another K2 car, the 27 of Richard Holiday. 4th will be Blake Wynn, and rounding out your top 5 will be Tyler McRae in the 99, as he has some post-race beating and banging going on with the 12 of Kenny Tripp. But what a race here, Paul, as 2 of your cars got podiums.
Yeah, you know, it's the K2 300, and look at that, K2 bringing it home 2nd and 3rd. You know, well-deserved win for Octavio Rondoletto. You know, he's been doing this for a couple races, did the you know, done the preseason and all that, but we got 2 drivers who, you know, popped in for their first race of the year, first time even on the track with no practice. Just imagine if Holiday and Edwards had, run the heats and run some practice, how good they could have been. So we might have some drivers in the future here that K2 Motorsports may be a force to reckon with if we can get some negotiation skills signed.
Take us through our remaining finishers while I gather up our top few.
The weapon's got a little bit of steam to blow off in our Demolition Derby too. That might be worth watching.
Yeah, he does not seem too happy. Paul, can you take us through our remaining top 20 finishers while we get these guys all correct?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So again, as PD said, we got Octavio Rondoletto in first. We got Austin Edwards, Richard Holiday second, third, Blake Wynn fourth, Tyler McRae fifth, John Schwartz in sixth, Chase Johnson seventh, Kendrick Quire in eighth, Trevor Birchmeyer ninth, Alex Holliner in 10th, and as I mentioned, Tyler Jalbert, who's just his last couple laps just were absolutely horrible, dropped all the way down to 11th. Alex Gangler 12th, he was our last car on the lead lap. 13th was Jordan Mabinger, 14th Tyler Badshaldar, 15th was Patrick Sullivan, Matthew Baird was 16th, Bruce Helmnes was 17th, William Karp was 18th, Uzi Gaidino was 19th, Greg Holtz 20th, and then your remaining cars that were running here at the finish that were capable of running: Luke Turpin, 21st, Derek Colson, 22nd, Heather Patrick, 23rd, Jeff Edgar, 24th, Jeremy Little, 25th, and your last car, Johnny B. And then everybody else was multiple laps down.
All right, so those are your remaining finishers. And Paul, I believe while you were reading that off, you actually made your way down onto pit road, and you've caught up with the second place finisher, the 66 of Austin Edwards.
Yeah, that's quite amazing. I can read stat sheets, walk, and do a school board conference at the same time. Austin Edwards, Paul Goldman, thank you so much, first of all, for taking this race at last second notice here. How was your first experience running with XCAL?
Something, I'll tell you what. Starting back in the field and all the way down on 41st, man, I didn't think I was going to be able to get to the field. I mean, it was a long race, 300 laps. It came down to a lot of pit strategy at the end of it, but a lot of wrecks to miss, a lot of mid-pack racing, trying to figure out a way to get around cars with this run groove track. And at the end of the day, I'm just glad the car came home in one piece.
Absolutely, and I'm super proud of you there. What do you think of running these enduro races? Typically, street stock races aren't anywhere near this length of time here. What kind of mindset do you put yourself in now that you find yourself in these long races versus the shorter sprints?
Well, going into a race such like that, I mean, the street stocks can take a pretty big beating, but at the same time, if you don't have any quick repairs to use, you want to keep the car in one piece as best as you could. And I was able to do that for about the first 200 laps, and then things got a little bit rough. But at the end of the day, got the pit strategies worked together the way they needed to, and brought it home rolling on all four tires. So I said it's good enough.
All right, two more questions. First of all, you think you'll be back for any more XCAL racing?
I've had a couple people offer me to drive their other cars in this league, so it's a lot of fun coming with these guys for the first time. I've heard a lot about the league, a lot about the racing, and they definitely lived up to what they told me it is. So I hope to be back soon.
Awesome. Well, hey, we still haven't chatted yet too. I got an offer coming your way as well. Also, I know you run a little side hustle through iRacing. Care to pimp that just for a second?
Well, I don't know if you call it a side hustle or a little way to help out other iRacers. I run my own little setup shop called the Edwards Setup Shop, and I basically release all my setups for free. I mean, I've been a proven short track racer against super lates and late models and legends and pretty much anything on the short track circuits of iRacing. So one way that I give back to the community of sim racing is to build some pretty quick setups that are capable of going on the world records board and post them so people can try it out so they can really test their driving skills while having the correct setup on the sim. And I just think it's a great thing.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, stay tuned. I'll be definitely providing an offer for you as well to come back here to XCAL. Thank you so much. Great second place run.
Thank you.
All right, so that wraps up Paul's interview with the second place finisher, and I've walked down here on pit road to the third place car, Richard Holiday. And well, Richard, it's been 7 years since you ran an XCAL race, but you didn't look too rusty. Brought that car home on the podium. I gotta ask you, coming into this race with no practice, never racing the setup before, haven't probably ran a street stock in half a decade, did you have any expectations of walking away with a podium finish?
Hey, Petey, no, I did not at all. I was expecting maybe a top 10. But no, third place is great.
How'd it feel to get back out there, though, and behind the wheel in an XCAL race? It'd been so long for you. Did you get a little nostalgia being out there?
Yeah, the first time I heard Hillebush's voice, I was like, oh boy, I'm back. But no, it took me a while to remember some of the rules, but That cost me a couple of spots at the beginning, but after that, it was fun out there. I mean, there was a lot of traffic, but it was fun trying to dodge and weave and set up passes. It was a good time.
Well, Richard, I know this was kind of a one-off thing for you, just were available tonight, but if you're available on more nights in the future, do you think we can maybe see that 27 car back in an XCAL field again?
For sure, you can count on it.
All right.
96 car.
Yeah,
Don't want to lose too many championship points.
You did cost Paul Coleman 25 owner points for that number mistake.
Oh boy, I hope I got some of them back with the third.
You did. I'm very, very appreciative of that. Thank you so much.
You still did better than Paul would have starting and parking it, so I think everything's okay. But Richard, before we let you go catch up with the crew, is there any sponsor or crew teammates you want to thank for a good third place finish?
Yeah, gotta thank Paul Coleman Jr. for letting me drive his car tonight, and the K2 Sauce for being on the car. Big thanks to them.
All right, that's Richard Holiday with a good third place finish. And now I've made my way down here to Victory Lane. Me and Paul are both down here in Victory Lane. The champagne's flying, and Octavio Rondoletto's crawled out of the car. And Octavio, for the first time in your career, you're a winner of an official XCAL race. You won a bunch of preseason races, but have never got the official one. Today at Thompson, you do get the first career official win. How's it feel to put the 77 car in Victory Lane?
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy with the result. The race was fun, was long. There was a lot of traffic. Was hard, but I think I could do it. I'm really happy with the result. Win an official race. And I'm thinking in points for the championship.
Yeah, I gotta say, you with the good points run, you already had a top 5 at Charlotte to start the year. You kind of had a rough run last week at USA, but now the win will put you right back up there, probably near the top 5. And Octavio, we've seen Luke Turpin have a lot of trouble here early in the season, and he's mired pretty back there in the points. So do you feel good having quite a big lead over Turpin this early?
Yeah, but I think the championship is so long, and he had really had possibilities of recover the points, losing point. I think we need to see what happened. I don't want to say nothing at now.
All right, well, Octavio, before we let you catch up with the team and celebrate, who do you got to thank for sponsors, crew, and team on that 77?
I want to say thank to all the team, family, friends, support me, and XCAL for the race.
All right, well, that's your feature winner tonight, Octavio Rondoletto, driver of the number 77 racing car, Paul. And Paul, this is a race that had a very good start, I would say, and then the middle was brutal. There's no other way to put it, Paul. The middle was not very good. They recovered at the end. They had an exciting finish, and honestly, it was so much fun getting to see some of the old names like Holiday, some of the new names like Edwards, some of the names that needed a good run like McRae out there running up front tonight.
Absolutely. No, this is what XCAL brings you, a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of the past. Like I said, we brought in Austin Edwards, who's one of the greatest street stock racers on the service. Who knows? Stay tuned, racers and fans. We may see some other big time street stock guys come and dip their toes here in the XCAL series here in the next couple of weeks. If K2 Sauce has anything to do with it, there. Nice thing about being a corporate backed team here, I can throw some sponsorship stuff around to make it people's worthwhile. So definitely look forward. Come check out our race in Rockingham. Things are going to be good.
Yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks. We're hoping to negotiate a deal with the Turn 3 Racing Network to maybe bring some more XCAL races to Turn 3. We'll see how that ends up playing out. I think that pretty much wraps up everything here today, Paul, though.
Oh, yeah. But if I don't find drivers, because Rockingham is a mile-long track, I'm actually going to run the full event. So I'll be your in-car reporter if I'm not able to sign some big names.
Yeah, we'll have to see what you can do. Certainly, you had 2 guys tonight that made a case to be on your team. So that'll wrap up things here from the broadcast booth. As always, my name is PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing. Thank you to Paul Coleman Jr., as always, for joining me in the booth. It's always so much more fun when I get my buddy Paul up in here. Thank you to KR and all the boys over at the Turn 3 Racing Network who made the production possible. Without them, me and Paul would just be some annoying voices yelling at the wall. Thank you to Aaron Hilbush, the president of XCAL Racing, who makes these races possible by putting them on. And thank you to Bowen Smith, the lead official for tonight's event. And last but most certainly not least in any way, thank you to K2 Sausage for the sponsorship of tonight's event. That'll wrap things up here from the Thompson Speedway. We will see you in 2 weeks, my friend, from The Rock. Take it easy.